£10 daily from Gatwick for the offer price of...
London's LBC 97.3.
Yeah.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Right, so what we doing?
Just like to point out that the initials... Hello, is this thing on? Just like to point out that the initial screw-ups in this programme are nothing to do with me. We're not self-op. This is not like a DJ's setup here. I just sit here like some chump in a almost bare room while it's all done for me. Rather crappily so far, if you don't mind me saying so. This is still not the right mic. I don't know which mic I'm on. There's about 10 of them in here. It's like a big spider. I'm sitting underneath a huge spider of great arms with mics sitting on the end of them. One of them's working, but we've got no idea which one it is. Hey. So the repercussions of the Pope discussing Islam's concept of jihad continues to reverberate around the world. This week in the West Bank, a group calling itself the Lions of Monotheism firebombed 4 churches and told the Associated Press... Oh, hang on, wait for the haze. So after they firebombed 4 churches, they told the Associated Press the attacks were carried out to protest the Pope's remarks linking Islam and violence. Then the 2 fat ladies suspended their junk food run, and the government issued guidelines on what to pack for your child's lunch. 3 packets of crisps, a bar of chocolate, 10 Marlboro Light, a quarter of skunk, packet of Rizzlers and a vodka and Red Bull. It's the only thing they'll have. And the Thai army staged the world's quietest coup when they walked up to the presidential palace and rang the doorbell and asked the butler if anyone was in, and he said no. He says they're all out. And they said, well, do you mind if we take the country, because we've come all this way? And do you have any of those rice crackers with chili dips, because we really like those? There's 4 of us. Can we have a seat by the window? So Gary is here in place of Alex.
I am.
How are you doing so far, Gary?
It's not been the best of starts, has it?
And Lucy is here. I'll call you Chili Hot Stuff from now on. You've got no idea what I mean, do you? In fact, your mic doesn't work either. Good grief. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take a call. You 2 dopes can sort yourselves out.
Go on.
Hello, Biss.
Yeah, are you... all right, I'll start again, yeah? The British Army is...
Okay, hang on a minute. What's his problem? I haven't been with him for a second, and already he's shouting at me like I've done something wrong. What's your problem, pal?
I always talk to Clive, you know. So
Okay, right, well, here's the number. 0870 90 90 973. If you wait 36 hours, we'll be on, all right. Oh, blimey. So he's angry because I'm not Clive, or something like that. Struth. Keith Richards was funny this week. Is your mic working yet, dear?
No, but I can talk on Gary's.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we're going to have to share one.
I'm going to call you Chili Hot Stuff from now on. Have you been following that?
Yes, I heard that. I like that.
Isn't that hot? No, not
Well,
that
I like
I'm
the
going
name.
to call you that, but you know what that refers to?
No.
No, you don't follow the news, do you?
Sometimes.
No, you don't. Every time I say, hey, have you heard about this, that and the other, and you're like, no. Where do you get your news from? Newsround, Blue Peter, or something like that?
CFAX.
How dare I?
So mean.
I know. Did you hear about Keith Richards this week? Who?
I know who he is.
Wasn't he in The Who?
Hellraiser Keith Richards says he's finally given up drugs. Not because he wants to run his life in a more clean way. Not because he wants to wake up in the morning as opposed to the evening. He wants to bend down and smell the flowers and be a part of the world. But he's giving up drugs because they're not strong enough anymore. The Rolling Stone guitarist complained dealers and chemists have reduced the power of his favourite narcotics. And he doesn't like modern drugs like ecstasy because they, quote, mess with the brain. How would he know? He says, oh, I think the quality's gone really down. He's like the new Queen Mother. He's just, he's a national treasure. Up close, he looks like Yoda's granddad. I mean, have you ever seen anybody who looks quite that old? It's actually quite frightening. I mean, you see him from a good long way away, and he looks, almost like a normal human being. 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 legs, and so on. But up close, when there's a photograph of him, from real near, he looks like his skin is made out of the wood that construed the tree that he dropped out from. Hey, Keith.
Want to score some pot?
Oh, no, man, no. I'm into falling out of trees these days, man. I'm on about 3 trees a week now, man. But I can handle it. I've just got a bit of a headache at the moment, that's all. Hi, Stephen.
Oh, Nick.
Are you upset that I'm not Clyde Bull?
No, I don't care. Hey, what do you think first of all, of Lucy in MySpace?
Have you got a MySpace site, Luce?
Yes, I've just done one this week.
Have you got any pictures? Pictures and videos?
Yeah, I've only done a couple though, but they're all a bit out of date.
You got pictures and videos?
No videos, just 3 pictures.
Just some pictures.
Lucy looks very nice with her husband. Anyway, the reason I rang
What's her
up...
husband like, by the way?
He's very nice.
You put a picture of your husband on your MySpace site?
Yeah, was that wrong?
Well, I don't know. What, warding off potential suitors? Something like that?
Well, I didn't know what the rules are. I find it quite complicated, the whole MySpace stuff, because I get so many people coming in asking to be my friend.
Can I be your friend?
You can be my friend.
Can I have a mic that works so that doesn't sound like my head's in a bucket?
Should we try swapping it round?
I don't care. You're the engineer. You're supposed to be in charge of this show. What do you think?
Would you like me to
You've
swap
thrown
it
your
round?
hands in the air. You've got no clue.
Nick, you already are a friend. You're on there.
Well, I've got 2 MySpace sites, apparently, neither of which have got anything to do with me. Oh, God, he's not coming in here, is he? The engineer is coming in. No! Come in during the break. We'll sort it out then. Oh, he's very upset now. He's a last-minute replacement for Alex. And Alex, it looks like Alex left on the right night. But yeah, apparently I have a couple of MySpace websites in my name, neither of which I've got anything to do with, and neither of which I can get into. Don't you have to be signed in or have a code word to get into your site or something?
It's quite easy though. It's only your login with your an email address and then a password.
Right, but as they're in my name, you'd think that I'd have some sort of honorary membership of my own sites.
You should really.
Well, yeah, you would think so, yeah. Especially as all these people are making me friends of other people whom I might not even like.
No, you might not.
You like Lucy?
Yeah, well, let's not get carried away.
You've got to say that, haven't you?
Like, it's a very strong word. Put up with, perhaps.
Anyway, why
what a mood I'm in
Why I
tonight.
rang Nick was, don't you think that Richard Hammond, and I'm glad he's alive and not dead,
Yeah.
don't you think he's becoming our Steve Irwin?
There's not going to be a state funeral if he unfortunately dies after this ridiculous stunt. You know why he crashed going 300 miles an hour? Because he's a television presenter. He's not a driver. That's why. Now, I don't know whether I should get into this, but the last time I saw Top Gear, it's one of my favourite programmes. I watch every single episode. It's getting a bit like, it's getting a bit,
Extreme.
No, not extreme. It's getting a bit like a... What's a joke that's so referential that it just goes around and around and you end up going up your own fundament? It's getting a bit... Oh, well, anyway, that description will do.
Self-perpetuating?
No.
Monotonous?
No, not monotonous. It's like a caricature of itself. It's getting parodical. Yeah, all right, I'll go with that. It's... For a while there, it seemed like real, but now it's all a bit pantomime-ish. They're all a bit joking. They're joking that everyone hates everybody else. And Clarkson is joking. Well, I'm assuming he's joking. This outpouring of grief from Clarkson, he had a double-page spread in the Sun about how deeply upset he was. On the programme, he acts like he can't stand the guy. So he's lying one way or the other. I don't know which it is. Perhaps it's the show business. It's the smoke and mirrors of show business. They only pretend that they don't like each other. Let's go with that, shall we?
Why do they all sound the same? Every single one of them sounds exactly like Clarkson. Don't you think so?
Well, they're looking at his bank balance and they're thinking, well, maybe he's got something there. Yeah. What, you mean the way they drop a gear halfway through the sentence? Like that? Yeah.
But, I mean, you remember Lady Diana when she died? Or
Yes.
Di, or whatever she was called. All the absolute grief we had over her, and
Yeah.
it went on and on and on. And it was a bit like that with Richard Hammond. It was getting a bit Steve Irwin-ish, like, I thought.
Yeah, well, you know, for a guy who is on a programme on a channel that's not often watched, he seems to have got a lot of coverage. Yeah, it's a slow news week. I mean, there's only you know, how many deaths and stabbings and shootings have we had on the streets of this country, and how many soldiers have been killed over there, and there's been a coup in Thailand, and we're going to have to go to war with Russia because they're going to stop giving us gas. And we're going to have to bomb North Korea, and we're going to have to, you know, there's no end of trouble in the world. But the entire country has stopped because some man from BBC Two had an accident going at 300. That's the reason he had an accident, because he was going at 300 miles an hour. Is that a big surprise? Well, no, not really. And the last time I saw it, and as I say that, do you have another point? Because I keep on interrupting you.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, don't you think now that if I bet you the politically correct brigade will come along, and it will be toned down, and it won't be able to do anything dangerous anymore, and it will become a mild representation of the show it's become.
Well, if it becomes more real, then I would welcome that, because at the moment, like I said, it's becoming a parody of itself. They're all, you know, it's getting a bit silly. All of these jaunts across, you know, the race. I'll go on a plane and you go in the car, and those races that they have. Yeah. You can't possibly tell me that that's real. First of all, if it is real, then they must have 50 camera crews along the route, because unless I'm wrong, they'll have one camera crew, and the car will drive by some scenic pass, and it will zoom by the camera, and then they'll stop, and then they'll pack up the camera, and then they'll put it on a lorry, and then they'll drive 50 miles down the road to another scenic pass, and then they'll get the camera out, and they'll put the makeup on, and they'll put the lighting on, and then they'll drive the car by it again, and then they'll put the cameras back on the truck again. It's either they do that, or they've got 50 or 100 camera crews just waiting in the middle of nowhere for the car to drive by, which obviously isn't the case. So those races are fake. They're phony. They don't actually happen. That's just, you know, showbiz BS.
A bit like Richard Attenborough on his own in the jungle.
Well, he doesn't pretend to be on his own. Don't let's drag Richard Attenborough into this. But the last time I saw that programme, and they were doing something silly, I think they were setting fire to themselves, or they're setting fire to the caravan that they were in, or something daft like that. And I thought, you know what? These people think that they're immune to danger because they're on television. That was the thought that went through my mind. I thought, because they're on TV, they think that nothing bad is going to happen to them.
They keep poking the crocodile, don't they? Exactly what Steve Irwin did, didn't he?
Is that like when TV shows jump the shark? From now on, anything dangerous on TV will be poking the crocodile. Yeah.
Well, I suppose so, something like that.
Okay, well, you've given us a lot to think about, Stephen.
Okay, thanks, Nick.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
Yes. But that's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought, and I didn't bother saying it on the air at the time, and I think I was on the air at the time. But, yeah. And I think that's TV people all over. You know, as long as the TV is pointing at you, nothing bad will happen. Just ask Noel Edmonds.
There's no
Abbott.
Everything is going extremely well.
If you have any complaints about what you've heard, about the technical quality of what you've heard on this radio station, address all complaints to Capital Radio, Leicester Square. I was driving here this evening, and a couple of Burks wafted by me in an open-top black Ferrari. Jealous? Moi? Oh, no. And, you know, the dials are glowing, and I don't know what they were listening to. I think, from the looks of them, it was probably Radio Al Jazeera. And they turned right onto High Street, Kensington, and sped away. But they were they're chronically unable to control such a quick car, and as I wafted slowly across the junction, they'd turned a 90-degree corner to go down High Street, Kensington. They must have only been doing about 30 miles an hour, but they tapped the accelerator just a little too hard, and they were literally going down the street sideways. The back end just span right out, and they were going along at a 90-degree angle to the direction of travel. That was hilarious. I bet they needed to wipe their seats clean after that. good grief. You know, until you grow up, boys, perhaps another form of transport, like maybe, I don't know, a bus. Here's one in Derbyshire. Hello, Alan.
Hello.
Alan.
How are you? You're sounding like you're having a bit of a rough technical night.
No, everything is fine here.
Everything's fine. Don't worry, I'll be sending my complaint to Capital Radio.
Excellent.
Along with Chris Tarrant's lawyers.
He's having a great week, isn't he?
Oh, he is. So, all that and he loves to throw it away. Anyway, on a much lighter note, I was shocked to hear this week that sort of, because nobody wants to give any donations to the Labour Party anymore, they're actually going to tax us and take it out of the tax.
What a great idea, and the nation stood up and cheered as one. Yeah.
Yeah, and the nation sort of didn't say dicky bird. I'm a bit disgusted about it, actually.
Well, they're not going to. Maybe they actually will. I think all politicians will get together, and because now, they've been tainted by this scandal, they will come to us at one point and say, well, you know what? We give up. You'll have to pay for us, and there will be nothing we can do about it.
It's outrageous, isn't it?
Well, yes.
In other countries, they overthrow the government, so it's slight little things like that.
That's right.
And, God almighty, I shouldn't be saying that. I'll probably get my house bombed.
A bloodless coup, it could be. Well, not in this country. In Thailand, perhaps, because they're all very polite, over there. But in this country, no, I think it would be a little bit more... that Thailand thing, I've seen more violence at Harrods Sale. It just went so smoothly.
Yeah, it does get a bit nasty, sort of try and step into somebody's way in Harrods. They're sort of a bit bloodthirsty down there, I would agree.
Oh, good.
Anyway, I've got to disappear. Good night.
And the deposed Prime Minister is not a millionaire, he's a billionaire. Can you imagine what you would do with that kind of money? His name's Thaksin Shinawatra. Well, first of all, you change your name. He called on the coup leaders to hold swift elections and urged all parties to work for national reconciliation. That's really big of him, don't you think? I mean, somebody took his country while he was out. It's like he could care less. The billionaire businessman turned politician gave no indication that he would be returning home or that he planned to run for public office again. And there's a picture of him smiling, leaving a place in Park Lane. Well, I think he's probably bought Park Lane, hasn't he? There's nothing in Park Lane that he couldn't afford. When he was mobbed outside the Dorchester Hotel by... I wonder if he got a suite at the front. Oh, no, they put him in the broom cupboard in the back. When he was mobbed outside the Dorchester Hotel, dozens of reporters asked what he planned to do next, and he replied, I'm going to buy some groceries. Brilliant. Which means Sainsbury's. Probably he's going to buy Sainsbury's. He doesn't know, he came in with his shopping cart and he left his shopping list at home and he can't remember. It was like garlic and bread. I'll just buy everything. I'll just have everything and you can deliver it. I'm at the Dorchester. Oh, how are you doing in there now?
We're okay.
Is everything super?
Yeah, it feels like the Beatles here, doesn't
well,
it?
you are sharing you are sharing a mic like Lennon and McCartney. Yeah.
No.
Do we look stupid?
No, you look fabulous.
Thank you.
Both in real life and on your MySpace website. Why have you got a MySpace site?
I just thought I'd play around with it because I hadn't really done it. And
see, now I thought that MySpace sites were all about young teenagers organising sex with each other, but that must be wrong, right?
Well, you can put down whether you're single, married.
And what did you put down?
A teenager.
I put married. But there's all the people that keep writing to me. I can't work out how they find you all the time. I know that you can do certain searches on what your topics are or whatever. So I think because I've put that I'm a producer, people automatically do a search on producer and it brings up music.
By that, do you mean that you're heterosexual?
No.
Oh, right.
But it means that music bands keep getting in touch all the time. And obviously, I'm not a music producer in any way.
That doesn't just happen to you, though. That happens to everyone.
Does it?
Yes.
Mm. Gary's also on MySpace.
Are you? Mm. So have you got lucky yet, Gary?
No.
Women are more likely to orgasm during lesbian sex than straight sex, a survey has revealed.
A what, Ben?
Just under 69% of women climaxed during their last heterosexual encounter, compared to 76% who romped with another female. This was in the Telegraph. No, it wasn't. They might report this, but they would never use the word romped. Although they do get away with, things like this. On the front page of the Daily Telegraph, more often than not, there'll be some super hot babe, but she'll be, like a super hot upper-class babe. Like that woman who was a mod... Actually, we didn't really ever figure out what she does do. She used to go out with Hugh Grant. What was her name? You know, the woman with the strappy dress with the...
it's on the tip of my tongue.
I bet it is. With the safety pins. That woman. Yeah, we've got no clue.
Last week.
What's her name? Oh, I thought you said, Elizabeth something is exactly correct, yeah. Researchers who quizzed 19,000 people across Australia blamed selfish fellows who concentrated solely on intercourse because it was the most effective for them. They added that many women with lower sex drives were also left unsatisfied when pressured into having sex, while only 5.2% of men did not orgasm. 5.2%. 3/4 of women polled by 3 Aussie universities said that their last sexual activity included some kind... Oh, I don't know whether I should go on with this. I mean, I'm not doing a breakfast show on a children's station on the radio, so, this sort of stuff is... You have to protect the adults. Perhaps I shouldn't. Oh, why not? It's in the sun. How bad could it possibly be? 3/4 of women polled by 3 Aussie universities said their last sexual activity included some kind of manual stimulation. A quarter said their romp included oral sex. You know what? I used to think, until relatively recently, that oral sex was when you talked about it. I went through most of my life thinking that was the case. Isn't that awful? The survey was published in the renowned publication, the Journal of Sex Research. Hey, Lucy.
Are you very sure you're not homosexual?
Or at least thinking about it. Here's one in Charlton.
Put it on.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, my friend.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Yeah, well, how are you doing, mate? Go on. Hello, mate. Hello. I waited a long time to speak to you, Nick.
Okay.
How are you doing?
Is this the same question that you've asked like 3 times now? I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, well, I'm just getting out to the fish now. I'm in the garden. I had to get away from the people. No one's to smoke trees and stuff. We were talking about earlier.
Right. He waited a long time to speak to me, and he's going to be waiting a long time to speak to me again. It's going super so far. How's it going for you there, Lucy?
It's been better.
Yeah, it's been,
I can promise you the next call is a lot more lucid.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Hello, Lucid.
Hello. I'm not that lucid, but I'm relatively lucid.
Yeah, relatively, yeah.
Yeah. I was phoning to talk about MySpace.
Go on, then.
Oh, it's cool.
Is it?
It's very cool.
Now, to me, and I might be wrong about this, but it just looks like a giant waste of time.
Well, it is. It's very good when you're bored. It's very, very good when you're bored, and it can be quite time-consuming when you first start it. Because I had loads and loads and loads of messages. Initially I had email alerts to whenever I got a message, and I was just getting emails every 2 minutes, so I got rid of that. And but it's great fun. It's really good, and there's some very mental people out there, and there's also some very nice people.
And were these alerts, these messages from people who actually wanted to,
Well, I don't know whether... Oh, God, this sounds awful. Do you know me? This is going to sound like... But I've got a bit of a reputation on LBC, so...
Do I know you?
No, you probably don't know me.
I know neither you nor your reputation.
No, which is a good thing, I can assure you. But because of my reputation, I got a lot of friend requests. So, because a lot of people know me.
By your reputation.
By my reputation,
say no more, and we'll use our imaginations.
If you could create your own world...
no time for the old in-out, love. I've just come to read the meter.
So that was my fault, that one. Chris Tarrant's livid wife told how she plotted to expose him as a love cheat by auctioning an envelope containing details of his affair at a charity bash. Did you hear about this? This is a bit out there. Distraught Ingrid, 51, came up with her revenge plan after hiring detectives to spy on the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire host. They did they give away the £1 million tonight? It was tonight, right? Oh, Lucy's stunned. You missed it.
I didn't put the TV on tonight.
Right. Because I never watched that programme, and neither does anybody else, really.
Boring,
it is boring, yeah, that's right. But, of course, when anybody does win a large amount, it renders watching the programme completely pointless, really, because you only watch the show to see somebody win a large amount of money, right?
And they tell you in advance.
They tell you in advance is the correct answer, yes. So you will never be surprised by somebody winning a large amount of money. So every time you watch that show, unless you've heard that they're going to win, you know that they won't. They'll go away with a couple of grand and, you know, a hug. And nobody on that show actually looks comfortable when they're being hugged by Chris Tarrant. Have you noticed that? They're all trying to edge away.
Just give me the money.
Yeah, that's right. Just don't touch me. Which is what his wife is saying right now. The envelope would have been among lots at a gala dinner in November for the brain injury charity that Tarrant is a patron of, and where his mistress, Fiona McKechnie, is a trustee. They met at the bash 10 years ago. So she put evidence of her husband's cheating in an envelope, and she was going to put it, unannounced, up for auction as a mystery lot. And then whoever bought it would open an envelope with evidence of some woman's husband's cheating. That's just off the scale weird, isn't it?
Yes, but I think it does drive some women, or, well, I think, yeah, probably women, to behave like that, don't they? If they're getting really suspicious and feeling someone's getting one over on them. No?
Well, I don't know.
It is a little mental.
Yeah.
You know.
Just a tad.
I mean, wouldn't you have to assume that after 20 years or 30 years, or however long they've been together, that your husband, if he isn't actually having an affair, then he just desperately wants to? Because that's just men's behaviour. That's what we're like. Lucy's looking horrified. She's thinking, I've got to sharpen the knives in the drawer when I get home.
I've done 1 year of marriage.
Yeah, she's just counting how many years left.
That's right.
Yeah. That's very doom and gloom outlook, isn't it?
Well, I think it was Chris Rock who said that men's sexual proclivity is a factor of their options. They're just as faithful as their options. And of course, being a millionaire TV star, he'll have options up to his neck.
There was a chap who wrote a book recently that's come out. I don't know if you saw all the hoo-ha about it, saying that men just cannot be faithful at all.
That's right.
But I don't really believe that, to be honest. Because I choose not to believe that.
Good for you. Ingrid said, Ingrid's his wife, right? I had planned on auctioning an envelope containing a revelation about Chris and selling it to the highest bidder. Wouldn't you have been upset? Because, there's all these rich people at an auction, they're bidding for envelopes, and you'd think, oh, it'll be a couple of weeks in the Seychelles, or maybe, a week on someone's yacht in Nice, or something fabulous like that. And then you got Chris Tarrant doing someone else
maybe
in an envelope.
Got some money selling it.
Well, perhaps you could. Yeah, you're right. No one would have known what's inside until they bought it for big money, for the charity, of course, she said. It would have said how Fiona was having an affair with my husband. It would then have been up to the bidder to do what he or she wanted with it. A bit out there. She said in a statement, I became aware of Chris's infidelity several months ago and eventually gained positive proof from private investigators. I was shocked at the discovery, but I successfully disguised my shattered heart and physical decline by putting on a brave face.
Boring!
Isn't that just a bit boring? And on and on and on it goes. I mean, this is a story that's being repeated in every household that's actually, we've got a man in it. Am I right? Or am I just very cynical about men? Well, what the most surprising thing about this to me was, I mean, not that they look exactly the same. His wife and his mistress are identical, like they're twins. You couldn't separate them in a lineup.
Have you noticed how Ingrid looks quite like Chris, though, these days? They have quite similar features.
What, the owner changes to look like its dog?
Well, I think so, yes.
Well, I think it's a truism that people choose a mate dependent on it looking the same. I mean, that's why people choose pets. They just they recognise, and they don't know why they find it attractive, but they're looking in the mirror.
Well, except though, with men and women, if your man's really hairy, you're not exactly looking at yourself in the mirror, are you?
Facial features, bone structure, that sort of thing. Not convinced.
No.
But the most surprising thing about it, because, men just have type. Well, everyone has type, so it's not that surprising that his mistress is identically the same as his wife. I mean, you can... there's two pictures here, and they're the same person. The most surprising thing to me is that his mistress is 50 years old. I mean, don't you think that a man in Tarrant's position would go for a younger model? I mean, isn't that normally the reason why you stray? Because your wife's 50 and you want, and you were attracted to her and you met her when you were 30, and that's what you want.
But that's even worse that would be worse for the woman behind.
Well, not
it?
really, because I think she would be able to understand that. I mean, she can't be 30 anymore, but she can be 50, because she is.
But the difference is this woman probably hasn't started nagging yet. So she's much more attractive.
Which is saying that Chris Tarrant's wife is nagging all the time.
No, that women...
an awful thing for you to say.
That women tend to nag a little bit, I think, as time goes on.
Right. Are you talking about yourself here?
And
hey,
other
Gary,
women.
get Lucy's husband on the phone.
Yes. He'd certainly agree.
So I wonder what this other woman... To paraphrase Mrs. Merton, I wonder what she found attractive about the multi-millionaire Chris Tarrant. Let's ponder that for a moment, shall we? But there can't really be anybody in the country that's interested in this. I mean, it's not like you're imagining them actually, like Posh and Becks. People are feverishly imagining it.
I think people thought they were a very solid couple. I think.
Did they? I don't think
public.
people even knew that they were... I mean, if you went into the street 2 weeks ago and asked, is Chris Tarrant married or not? Most people go, well, I don't know. Who cares, they'd say.
No, I think they would say, oh, yes, he's a happily married man. And that's why the media hate, or the public hate it then when it comes out like that. It spoils the whole myth, the gorgeous marriage.
The myth, though. I mean, they're not mythical creatures. He's a DJ and a TV host. He's not like a movie star. He's not one of these people that's up on a pedestal, an untouchable.
But they
he does a quiz
normal,
show on TV. Exactly. Normal. And that's normal behaviour.
Yeah. And it's disappointing, though, isn't it? We're always disappointed in ourselves when we behave like that. Maybe that's why.
So, yes. Oh, I just couldn't believe how much coverage it got. It just on and on and on it went. And here's me, giving it more coverage. But Posh and Becks were in the news today, a little light relief. Have you ever seen a picture... There's Posh coming either in or out of the ivy.
Oh, she's so fat, isn't she?
As they always do. Actually, she doesn't look that skinny to me.
How much is a lettuce leaf?
Most of her weight is in her boobs, enough. But she doesn't look painfully thin. I mean, there is a bit of meat on her. Not like those freak models that were in the newspapers this week. At Sir Paul Smith's show, falling over ourselves to doff our cap. Oh, God blimey, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. Sir Paul Smith's show. And he said something really wet, like, oh, yeah, well, maybe the model agencies can find some healthier models. Well, you should have chosen some, mate. I mean, there's loads of girls out there who are, they don't look like they're actually dead. They don't look like they've just stepped off a government heroin poster. They were weird. I mean, Kate Moss is a weird-looking girl right enough because her eyes are too far apart, and she's just, something otherworldly about her.
Is she actually a zero
Not ethereal.
herself?
Yes, she is.
She is.
Great big fat zero, yeah. But have you ever seen a picture of Posh Spice where she's actually got her lips closed? This is the, if this was only television, I wouldn't be on it. But if it was, you'd be able to see that picture there. Go to the, whatever newspaper that you pick up tomorrow. If it's a red top tabloid, there's undoubtedly a picture of Posh in it. And I guarantee that she will have her lips parted just a little bit like that. Because I think that she's decided that it shows up her cheekbones. And so whenever she steps out of a car and goes into a restaurant, she looks perpetually surprised. Like she's saying, not even ooh, but it's, like that. Like she's mid-thought. And she must, but the press must follow her. She's not like 3 steps out of the car and into the restaurant. She's walking down the street with her lips parted, going, like that. I wonder if she can breathe while she's doing that. I mean, there must be, like a certain amount of steps that she can take, after which she just falls down. And they won't... Maybe they'll draw a veil over that and the photographers won't keep photographing, but... It's like she's constantly gasping for oxygen, poor dear. And Kate Moss was in the news again this week. because this was an interesting double-page spread in the Daily Mirror. This is pages 6 and 7 in your Mirror on Thursday. Read the Daily Mirror there, Luce?
Pick it up randomly in the office.
Look at the pictures.
Sometimes, this is on page 6, and I'll tell you what's on page 7 in a moment. Britain's leading sports writer, Oliver Holt, who's he, on why he believes cheats will not win. Yes, they do. In sport, this is. Yes, they do. They win all the time. I mean, don't you just assume that somebody who wins at in a major sporting event that involves, fast twitch muscle fibres, in other words, strength events and speed events, don't you just assume they're on drugs until proven otherwise? I do. Somebody wins by a large margin, and I think definitely must be. I mean, how can they be so much better than the rest of the field if they're not hopped up on bulls, whatever it is?
On bulls?
On bulls, yeah. Actually, eating bulls, having bulls liquidised and then injecting it into themselves. Maybe that's what's happened to all the turkey Twizzlers. Athletes are injecting themselves with it. Sometimes it feels as if no sport is clean anymore, says Oliver Holt. Sometimes it feels as if the cheating and the lying never stops. Sport is supposed to be a sanctuary, a release from the pressures of everyday life, but it has become so polluted recently that it has stopped giving us shelter. Well, it is a sanctuary if you're doing it as an amateur, but if you're doing it professionally, you're doing it to win. You're doing it to make money. And then you have to beat the rest of the field, and you beat the rest of the field who are also hopped up on drugs by taking better drugs. That's how it works, right? I mean, the cyclists do it, and the rugby players do it, and I suppose the footballers must do it, and the athletes do it, do the swimmers do it? I guess they must do. Is there a single sport in the whole wide world where they're not actually taking drugs?
Darts?
Darts. Yes. As long as we don't count alcohol as drugs. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He continues, cycling has been hit badly. This year's Tour de France winner Floyd Landis tested positive for excessive levels of testosterone and was stripped of his victory. Suspicion hangs over many other leading riders. Athletics has become utterly devalued too. Olympic 100-metre champion Justin Gatlin tested positive for testosterone this year, and England's Dwayne Chambers caused divisions in the sport when he returned after serving a 2-year ban for taking the growth hormone THG. No one believes what they see in the Olympic Games anymore. No one believes world records anymore. All we do is wait for the positive tests to expand the limits of our disillusion. Swimming is riddled with drug cheats, so's weightlifting and hammer throwing and shot putting. Tennis has been hit by a rash of positive drug tests, many involving Argentine players. Why pick on the Argentines? I'm sure they're all doing it, with the exception of the ones that are listening to this show now.
And their lawyers.
Yes, exactly. So I think the message there is, don't take drugs and go into sports. That's his message. And the message from the Mirror is, take drugs and go into modelling. Because on the page that faces it, back at the top, Cocaine Kate completes amazing rehabilitation with a Topshop deal worth, guess how much? That's right, £10 million. Who would have thought the Topshop could afford it? 10 million quid? I guess that people who make the big money are the ones that sell the cheap things, right? Paper clips and those foil-lined paper packages that milk comes in. They've got all the money in the world. Jubilant Kate Moss. Yes. She hasn't stopped smiling for, years. Yesterday, battled back to the pinnacle of the fashion world after her cocaine abuse as she was handed a £10 million job with Topshop. Which I just don't get. Why? Is there no other good-looking... I mean, she's not even particularly good-looking. Am I alone in thinking that she just looks weird? I guess I must be.
I kind of quite like Kate Moss, I have to say.
The 32-year-old model will design her own range of Kate Moss products for the high street, including bags, jeans and vests. Yeah, right. Of course she will. She's going to sit down with a pen and just draw this stuff out.
Yeah, sewing scissors out.
Yeah.
And if she does, no one will be able to fit into them anyway.
It marks an incredible turnaround for Kate, whose career went into freefall 12 months ago when the Mirror published pictures of her snorting cocaine in a recording studio. So the message is loud and clear. Don't take steroids, take cocaine. It's the fast track to success.
Hi, I'm Gary King, and I'm looking for play...
Well, let's get back to it.
Don't they normally say the number, then? I was waiting for it.
Why don't
you
you
say...
say...
if you want to.
Do you want to say the number instead?
No.
Oh, go on.
I'm up to my neck here. Busy, busy, busy. I thought it normally came in automatically.
Well, I can play it if you want.
Yeah, go on then.
Hang on, I've just got to do this. I've got to move.
He's thinking...
Oh, no! There you go, here we go.
London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Hey, who does that? Is that Bendy Wendy?
Yeah.
That's Bendy Wendy Lloyd, who's back on...
She was on today.
Oh, that's right, yeah, she's back on next week.
Yes. On Saturday.
That's exactly what I was going to say. But does anybody seriously think that Kate Moss is actually going to design ranges of clothes? Well, I think you should have trousers. I want to do trousers. 2 legs, I think. Yeah, I'm thinking 2 legs.
She is supposed to have a lot of style, though, apparently, so maybe she would have a bit of idea.
Oh, please. People just keep sending her clothes and she puts them on. That's not style. It's just being thin.
Well, no, I think you have to know how to put it together, but obviously being stick thin does help that most clothes suit you, I guess.
You have to know how to put it together. Well,
yeah.
She spends her whole life prancing up and down catwalks in clothes that stylists have put together. It's not like she's coming up with this stuff off the top of her head. She spends her whole life in the fashion business being made up and, you know, tarted up to look like that.
And
oh, yeah,
also,
she's
she'll
a
never have to
genius.
pay for her clothes either.
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
really annoys me. As people get richer, they have to pay for even less.
Less and less, yeah. I used to work for a big station, you know, that played sort of ersatz rock music. I'm urging to tell you what it was called, but I can't. And I used to be a super extra double famous presenter on in the breakfast show for a little while there.
Oh, yes.
He used to... You could barely get into the studio after he had left every morning because about 6 or 10 companies in the 3 hours that he was on the air would back lorries of free stuff up and just pour it into the building. It was just amazing. I mean, there was stuff would be all over everywhere and free... I mean, and he wouldn't, like, he was so gigantically rich, he'd just leave it all there.
And
so
did he
I'd
plug
take
them?
it. Huh?
Did he give them a plug? Because that's presumably what they were after.
I don't know. I was
So
asleep
you
at the
had
time.
it all?
Well, a couple of things that were left, yeah. I got a knife.
What, a cooking knife?
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite good. They can be quite expensive.
I know, I broke it.
Oh, no.
Wasn't a particularly good one, then?
Yeah, it was. It was. It was a global. But I still managed to break it. I can't remember anything else. There used to be some dregs of champagne, but they were flat by the time I got in.
You don't want to take that home.
That was about
it,
really.
If you stick a spoon in it, it stays fresher for longer.
Yeah, right.
Do you not find that?
If you stick a spoon in it.
Yeah, if you stick a metal spoon in champagne once it's been opened, it keeps the fizz for longer.
Right.
It's true. You
How
must
can that
give
possibly
it a go.
be
Can you
true?
not just finish it?
Well, yes, for those who don't finish a whole bottle of champagne.
How can you not finish a whole bottle of champagne? You know, I think that wine growers are actually... they've figured this out, that 70 millilitres, is it 70 or 75? I think it's 70.
70.
Yeah, an ordinary bottle of wine is not enough for 2 people. It's barely enough for 1. And so, after you've finished a bottle, the only thing that's on your mind is opening another bottle, isn't it? Because you just want 1 more glass, at a minimum. Am I right? And so, that's how they do it to you.
And now you can buy the glasses that fit the whole bottle of wine in the glass.
In a glass.
But that's really
I
unattractive.
mean, you might as well just chug from the bottle. Yeah. Have you ever tried to chug champagne from a bottle? Don't ever do it.
No. Does it go up your nose?
It kind of it goes. You can get the liquid in, but when you put the bottle back up,
then it
the splashback is horrendous. Yeah. Let's have Northwood. Hello, Jerry.
I didn't expect to be on air. Well, the other contract that Kate Moss has got is that she's got a multi-million-pound contract to model a certain company's new range of paper clips.
Right. I didn't expect you to get on the air either.
Oh.
In retrospect.
That was one for Lucy. I'm always ringing up with awful jokes.
Yeah, well, maybe you should think twice next time. Just a thought. But thanks, Jerry.
No.
Another satisfied customer. What were we talking about?
Champagne.
Oh, yes. They do. I'm sure that's the deliberate intention on their part to put not quite enough in a bottle. Because you don't drink a bottle of champagne on your own, do you? Do you?
No, no. But if you had a glass for breakfast, say a glass of Bucks Fizz,
Yeah.
you're not going to really want to drink all of that bottle.
This is why you can't keep up with the news, because you're like...
Champagne.
I love to have a
breakfast.
Bucks Fizz in the morning, just before I go.
Booze.
Before you've opened your eyes, yeah. I'd have it there on the table. You can get one of those tea maids just to pour it for you.
Oh, that would be good.
An
wouldn't
electronic thing to wake you up in the morning.
it? Do
Yeah.
people still have teas maids? Can you still buy them?
I bet you can.
Yeah.
Google it.
That was such a thing, though, growing up. Then all parents had a teas made in their bedrooms, didn't they?
Well, I just bought a coffee machine. You know.
A good one, a proper.
No, not one of those things that gives you espresso. No,
Right.
just a filter machine, which I think it was some ridiculous amount of money. And come to think of it, what a stupid thing to buy. I mean, all you need to do is put it in a jug, pour water on it, and then strain it. So instead, I spent a gigantic amount of money on this extremely complicated machine that pours water through coffee. That's just crazy.
And cafetiere tastes better, I think.
Well, no, apparently it's really going to kill you. A
What?
cafetiere... yep, absolutely. You, in fact, I have that information right here. One moment, please. This is what you want to eat for a healthy heart. Some expert scientist has recently said the menu for a healthy heart took a turn for the better yesterday with some welcome advice from a professor of nutrition. Have a cup of coffee, drink 2 or 3 glasses of red wine a day, take a cup of green tea, eat 100 grams of dark chocolate, and be happy. What a great recipe for success that is. There's instructions from a doctor that you can actually look forward to taking. But apparently the coffee that you do in a cafetiere has got all sorts of fat in it that's going to kill you really quickly. You're supposed to drip it through a filter, or otherwise you're going to die. Like, you know, tomorrow.
But, yeah, I was going to say, aren't we all going to die eventually?
Yeah, eventually, yeah. But we'd rather postpone it.
Until after the ad break.
Yes, all right.
With British Airways. London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
I'm listening, dear. You can talk to me.
Those 2 nice ladies, you know, those rotund, dim women who were doing the junk food run.
Oh, yes.
They stopped doing the junk food run, and they called the mums. This is the story. The mums selling junk food to school kids have stopped after a rollicking from the headmaster. Julie Critchlow, 43, and Sam Walker agreed to quit supplying burgers and chips at Royal Marsh Comprehensive, Rotherham in South Yorkshire. Yesterday, pupils were eating healthy meals. This is not why they stopped. It's not the word from the headmaster that made them stop. I'll tell you why they stopped. Because, I mean, these women, they don't read the Daily Telegraph. They don't pick up the, the Guardian, do they?
They probably don't read, some of them.
Well, that's a very offensive thing to say, but you're probably right. The newspaper that they do read is The Sun. I bet you £1,000 trillion. And when The Sun came to interview them, they thought, oh, we're famous. And the Sun man was probably really nice. And he said, hey, so what are you doing? Isn't this great? I bet he was super extra double nice to them. And they thought, oh, we're going to be in the paper. And the photographer was snapping away, and I bet they were smart because they photographed putting the burgers and the chips through for the school railings, right? And I bet they were smiling as the photographer was taking the picture. And he said, "No, don't smile. Be serious." He set them up he smoked them like a kipper, and they couldn't wait to read about themselves in the paper the next day. We're going to be heroes, they thought. And then they pick the paper up, and you can just imagine their little fat faces falling in horror as they were portrayed as the 2 fat slags from Viz magazine. And the cartoon was hilarious. You know, with the sort of uniform of the T-shirt that doesn't meet the low-slung trousers, with the explosion of fat that bursts out the middle. And they must have been stunned. And of course, the Sun says was really negative about them and basically calling them idiots. They must have told all of their friends, "Oh, we're going to be in the sun. We're going to be in the sun. It's going to be great." They picked it up and they were utterly horrified. That's why they stopped. It was a rude slap in the face. I bet they couldn't believe it. So it wasn't any word from the headmaster. It was, Every now and again, the Sun takes credit for, well, you name it. The Sun takes credit for whoever happened to win in the last general election, or, you know, cleaning up the streets of whatever town they happen to be focusing on that week. But every now and again, they can put their hand on their heart and say, with pride, it was the Sun what won it.
London's LBC 97.3.
Hello.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
British holidaymakers waiting to return home from Turkey were told by their pilot, "Do not fly with this plane, it is not safe." Can you imagine that? You're sitting on the tarmac, your luggage is in the hold, you're wrestling to open your packet of complimentary peanuts. The pilot comes on and says, yeah, better leave. Run to the exits! The 180 tourists were about to take off for Bristol from Antalya with Honour Air when they heard a strange sound. They heard a strange sound from the engines. They say the captain of the Airbus A321 came on the intercom and said, "I'm resigning. Do not fly with this plane, it is not safe. Do not fly with Honour Air." He then walked off the plane. He then walked out. An alternative flight was arranged. Just what you want, isn't it? The aircraft had been chartered by a travel company, which has apologised to passengers. Sorry about that, they said. A spokesman for the travel company said the employee in question was serving his notice. It was not a major fault because the aircraft is still flying. And a representative from the passengers said, let's have one in Catford. Hello, Marvin.
All right, Nick.
How are you?
I'd have been off that plane, son. I'd have been off it like a shot.
Exactly.
Anyway, just a couple of observations. Firstly, before I get on to the main point, I've got just making a cup of tea. You're not going to believe this. On my carton of milk here, actually says, "Warning, may contain milk."
No, it doesn't.
It does, mate. It does. It's from a well-known high street supermarket chain, and on the very bottom, under the barcode, it says, "Warning, may contain milk." What? Oh, I ask you. Anyway, not the reason I was calling up, but I thought, you might enjoy to hear that. I just want to know, it was a bit of a spiritual observation, really, more than anything.
Well, that's what this show needs. It's more spirituality, yeah.
I am to bring it to you, son.
Do it.
Right, Steve Irwin, yeah, God bless him. Top bloke, died doing something he loved.
Yeah, he's still dead, by the way.
He's still dead, he hasn't come back. Tommy Cooper died doing something he loved.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
He did, yeah, he died on stage, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Nick?
I'm not sure you'd actually want to die on stage. I mean, that's what entertainers say that they'd like to do, but you'd probably want to die in private somewhere.
I would have thought so.
Not
but
with
doing what he
500 people, a dog, and gasp, mouths open, thinking, is that part of the act?
But he still died doing something he loved.
Yes.
So he was, he was living for it. So, for you, Nick, I mean, no playing with yourself tonight, son, because I'm a bit worried about you.
Oh, these are the jokes, folks. Everyone's got material. That's weak. Was that big build-up for that?
That's not that bad, mate.
Awful. Lucy didn't even get it.
Nor did Gary.
We missed it.
No, you didn't miss anything. Believe me. I almost died a little while ago here. You remember that? I had a near-death experience.
But you didn't even tell us about it. You
I
you
know.
wanted to go home
I
and
thought I
die
was having
in
a heart
private.
attack at the time, yeah.
Yeah.
I did actually think I was having a heart attack. It was about, I don't know, it was a couple of months ago now, wasn't it? I felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest. I was hyperventilating in here. I could barely breathe. My heart was bursting out of my chest. And what sympathy did I get from you? Nothing at all.
You said nothing about it and then just jumped in your car.
And then I drove home, yes.
Sensible.
How stupid is that? Let's have Tallulah. Oh, Tallulah.
Hey, Hey, man.
Hey, Tallulah, how you doing?
Hey, do you want to buy some?
Do I want to buy some, what, bird food? How's your parrot?
Oh, my budgie's sitting in the back, so he can't get on my nerves.
He's sitting in the back?
Yeah, on my back. So
Oh, on your back?
I've got a sort of a bubble on my back inside.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Because he likes to be...
They can take that off for you, you know, as an outpatient.
Well, I can open it and let him fly, and he's a good boy.
I'm really worried about this. Maybe we shouldn't delve any closer, but you've got him in a plastic bubble, which you're wearing as a knapsack, right?
Yeah, but Ian Lee... I met Ian Lee last week. He saw it, and we exchanged photos. And he thought it was quite cool.
You exchanged photos?
What? I made pictures of him with the budgie, and he made pictures of me with the budgie, and my photo ended up on his official website.
He's much more accommodating than I am. I wouldn't want to meet anybody from this show ever. And I don't mean that to be offensive, but not ever, not now, not ever, never.
Well...
You've taken it badly.
No, I don't care.
Why did you meet Ian Lee?
Because I wanted to be in the audience for his television show.
Oh, he's doing television.
Yeah.
Right. That question came out the wrong way. What I actually meant to say was, why did Ian Lee meet you?
I didn't do the stalking business. No way, Jose.
Right.
I'm mentally quite healthy.
Well. Well, what was the TV show then?
It was the thing with the liquid soup, but celebrity soup on the Sky Channel E. But I was late, so I waited outside to meet him again. I met him before on one of his live gigs.
No entry once the performance has started?
Pardon me?
No entry into the arena once the performance has started?
No.
So it's not like the Rolling Stones. You can't just come and go as you like. It's telly, dear. You've got to be there on time, right?
I think it's a red light saying on air or something like this, yeah. But it was cool. Anyway, I had a fab time.
So when is this on? Because I haven't actually... The only thing I've ever seen Ian Lee do on TV is that an edited highlights... The edited highlights of when he was on... that show with the woman who has fashioned herself as the quiz bitch. What's that called? I can never remember what that's called. The Weakest Link.
Oh, The Weakest Link, I know you.
And he was properly funny on that, but I've never seen him on anything else.
Oh, you know what?
What?
I've been on Liquid News, yeah? When Christopher Price was still alive, I was a headline on that thingy in connection with Big Brother and the Budgie Semi.
Okay, we're going to have to tiptoe slowly through this one. So you were on Liquid News. What's that?
Liquid News?
Yeah.
BBC television program.
Oh, is it?
On BBC One.
On BBC One?
Yeah, it was like
BBC Three.
BBC Three. Oh, it's like a youth news thing.
Yeah,
Right.
it moved to BBC Three, but Christopher Price did the original one. It was.
Who's Christopher Price?
He was a presenter.
Okay.
Liquid News.
On Liquid News, right? So we've got we got the basis of the story. Now we're going to put on the fine details.
Okay.
So you had something to do with Big Brother.
No, my story on there was pre-recorded in my home a few hours earlier. It was about my budgie.
Really?
Yeah.
They came to your house for a story about your budgie.
Yeah, but it was a budgie that died.
Oh, right. Was it maltreatment, something like that, was it?
No. It was a proper story. Hey, man, I'm a little budgie star there. But anyway, they came filming here. With my budgie.
They came swimming?
They came filming.
Oh, filming!
Yeah.
They came filming at your place because your budgie had died.
No, that died about a year later, 2 years later, afterwards.
Okay, why did the BBC news programme come to your house? Like, if I die during this call, I insist on knowing what it is you're talking about.
Okay,
if it kills me.
I had a story in the paper, and they phoned me to ask me if they can make a story about me and my budgie because I take my budgie out, and I had recorded a record with my budgie.
Right, so the story in the paper was about you taking your budgie for a walk in a plastic bubble that you have on your back.
But most importantly, I had recorded a an album, not an album, but songs with my budgie together where he speaks.
And what did that sound like?
Cool. I'm just about to do the new version with my other budgie.
You don't happen to have a copy of it that you could play down the phone for us, do you?
I have it, of course, but I don't have it right here, right now, because I have so much stuff that I would have to pick out, but I can play one day.
Could you perhaps sing it for us?
I would not dare.
Oh, go on, dear.
No, because it's pop. And
oh, please.
No, not now. But anyway.
You're being very uncooperative.
I'm not.
Just a little bit.
No.
A smidge.
Oh, no.
Couple of lines.
But you know who was guest on the show when it was performed, and it's a live TV show?
Is it in C? Who was the guest on the live TV show?
The guest was Charlie Watts.
Charlie Watts?
Yeah.
On Liquid Soup? Oh, Liquid News. I've got no idea what's going on here. It's kind of like This is what it must be like being Keith Richards. My mind is just like zooming around and around and around. It's like you know those cartoon representations of atoms with the nucleus and the electrons whirring around. That's what my brain's like right now. I've got no clue as to what's going on.
You should take some drugs. That's easier than.
Yeah, I've got some ibuprofen with me. I'll get into a couple of packets of those right after the show. Thanks a lot, Tallulah.
Okay.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Well, that wasn't very rock and roll, was it?
London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome, come on in.
Of course, bad news for the junk food business because this week it was announced that eating a packet of crisps a day is the equivalent of drinking almost 5 litres of cooking oil a year, the British Heart Foundation claims in a new campaign. The findings are designed to shock parents of the 50% of children who admit to eating at least 1 packet of crisps a day. At least 1 packet. Like, in other words, the kids are going to school with 2-3 packets of crisps. Don't you find that incredible, Lucy?
Not really.
Sometimes those multi-pack ones aren't enough.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when they're Monster Munch, without mentioning any brand names.
The advertising campaign will feature a young girl drinking from a bottle of cooking oil with the caption, "What goes into crisps goes into you." Professor Peter Weisberg, medical director of the British Heart Foundation, says that they believe that having a daily dose of such high-fat, nutritionally poor product is a threat to children's long-term health. Daily unhealthy snacking is a worrying habit. Rising rates of childhood obesity. You know that 2 out of 3 kids in this country are obese? Isn't that incredible?
That really is, isn't it?
Like, fat or obese. I don't know what the difference between overweight and obese is. It's a matter of degree, I suppose. Morbidly obese. That's just unbelievable. You go back in time 20 years, and there weren't any fat... there certainly weren't any fat kids. There weren't any fat people. Why? It's because we weren't eating this crap. We were eating crisps right enough, but we were running around and we weren't spending all day in front of our computers playing, twiddling our fingers playing silly computer games. We were actually, acting like children, running around and playing football and playing...
Knock down ginger.
Huh?
Knock down ginger.
What's that?
And you knock on people's doors and run away.
Knock down ginger?
Yeah. Didn't you ever play that?
There is, you will agree, certain je ne sais quoi, very special about a firm young carrot.
Like that?
What's that got to do?
like that kind of ginger. What's knock down ginger?
Knock and run.
Yeah, you would run around as kids, and then you go up to a front door, ring on the bell while your friends watch you, and then you run away, and you wait to see who comes out.
Right. Well, they have a new version of that. It's called stealing a car and hitting and running.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, it's not a very nice game anyway.
What, hit and run?
No, 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 that's certainly not. But knock down ginger, it's a bit... Well, it is childish, obviously.
A recent survey... wait a minute. Now, they've all got... Not only are they obese, but they've got type 2 diabetes. In other words, they're all going to die really quickly. And it's because of their parents. It's the parents' fault. The British Heart Foundation wants to expose the truth lurking within these foods and to help children and parents make healthier choices. Like putting fruit in their packed lunch. Oh, but they don't like that, the parents will say. A recent survey by the Foundation of children 8 to 15 years old revealed that 1 in 5 children was eating at least 2 packets of crisps a day, the equivalent of 9 litres of cooking oil a year. Unbelievable. Hey, you're listening to this, Gary? Swivel those satellite dishes on either side of your head this way. You're not helping. It's not cute anymore. Stop promoting this stuff. How does he get away with it? And that's a direct question to you, Lucy. How does he get away with it? He's the nation's favourite. We love him as a nation. And Gary Lineker is one of the people who are directly responsible for the kids in this country being fat.
But he's not saying eat 2-3 bags of crisps a day, is he? Because if everybody ate just one every now and again, that would be fine, wouldn't it?
I think that they must put something in crisps, because you can't just eat one, can you? You can't eat one crisp.
Are really, you've got to just keep going, haven't you? Like, have you never had a bag of crisps where you've had to have another bag afterwards?
You know what? I just don't eat crisps. I would eat nachos if you put them, if you smothered them in tomato sauce and put cheese and jalapeno peppers on the top. I would have that, because that's like a grown-up. That's the precursor to a Mexican meal.
Well, that is. Yeah, but crisps, you must have some favourite crisps, don't you?
Well, if I was so hungry I wanted to eat my own fingers in a pub, then I would have cheese and onion. Yeah, but
right, okay.
But I really don't buy crisps. What kind of an adult would buy crisps? I mean, really?
I do buy crisps. I like the odd
Maybe
bag.
I'm not normal.
I like Thai chili. They're really nice.
Hey, have you got a thing for me this week? Because you had some surveys last week.
I have still got some here, but
you're not happy with them.
Well, I read them earlier, and I just thought maybe they were a bit pants.
Oh, right.
So I didn't know if you'd really appreciate them, because last week's was just a bit rubbish, wasn't it, when I attempted it?
Well...
Yeah, you can say it. It's fine. I'm quite happy to be told it was rubbish.
Right. So you've obviously prepared something else for us this week.
Well, I can still give you some of the stuff from last week. But I'm just worried that, if it's a bit mediocre, then it's not really worth
it will fit right
having.
in. There's one in Greenwich. Hello, Stuart. Stuart. Oh, Stuart. We heard just the briefest of... I think he was so excited that he got on. He'd been hanging on for ages. He's actually had a heart incident, and medics are rushing to the scene. South Derbyshire. Hello, Adrian.
Hello, Nick.
It's Aid who can get laid.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, yeah.
People, by the way, who have just recently started listening to this show, the reason I call you that, well, you know this, but a lot of other people don't, Lucy including, and she's put the phone down. She was about to call her husband, tell him to put she wants some hot chocolate or something, like giving detailed instructions of how the house is to look on her return.
Don't eat all the crisps, dear.
Yes. This is the sound that you'll hear a lot over at Lucy's place. Whipped. But, he's not big, is he? Is he like a bit like a rugby player, big lad? He's going to come over here and duff me up, isn't he?
No.
Right, good. I'll say what I like. But the reason I call you that is, because forever and a day I used to call him Aid who can't get laid, because this is a caller from the old school. Yeah. But now he's got a car that makes my car look like, I'd be better off driving a horse and cart. And he cleans toilets for a living. So, with an open-top sports car that's made in Germany, no less, he must be now Aid who can get laid. Yeah. Have faith, Aid.
Sorry?
Have faith.
Have faith?
Faith.
Faith? What, you mean of religion?
No, the George Michael song. Faith.
Oh, faith. You completely lost me then.
So, anyway.
Yeah, anyway, a subject that's probably close to your heart, computers. Mine has gone completely... up at the moment. And do you have a lot of trouble with computers yourself at home?
Is this real wood in here, Lucy? I'm touching it furiously, whether it is or not.
Yes.
At the moment, no. And I've got a phalanx of computers. Check on Google whether I've used that word correctly. Phalanx. Phalanx. I have a phalanx of computers at home, boatloads of them, and they're all working perfectly well at the moment.
When they don't work, you really do miss them, don't you? You miss the internet. It's like, you don't realise how much you sort of use it. It's like, what are you going to do? Watch the telly?
Yeah, actually speak to people, yeah, or write your thoughts down on a piece of paper and put them in the post box.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, You know, if I could get Bill Gates now, I'd put him in a jet-propelled car and send him down the runway.
Yeah, well, I think that you'd be at the back of a very long queue.
It seems to be everything these days, like, his phone went wrong as well.
I went through a period there where every piece of electronic equipment that I touched broke instantly. There was some sort of vibe coming off me that, I don't know what it was, but I found myself at one point, and I'm not making this up, I was actually on the floor howling like an animal. I had, for a while there, I'd actually lost my mind. And I'm not exaggerating or making light of it. I was actually insane for a brief period there, because I bought a top-of-the-range laptop. £2,000 it cost me.
Well, I don't think it matters whether you spend 200 or...
No, you're right. Yeah.
You know, you're gonna get it, right?
And it looked fantastic until I switched it on. And I'd waited ages to get this thing, because, you know, you order one of these things off the internet, or one of these companies on the internet.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, yes, it's in stock, and we'll send it to you right away. And 6 weeks later, oh, yeah, it's coming. And so they send it around, and it comes out of the box, and it looks great. And I switched it on, and it worked for, 20 minutes, something like that. You work that out. £2,000 for 20 minutes. How much is that? I've got no idea.
Right.
He's got an A+ in maths at A level. No clue.
That is one hell of a rate.
Isn't it? And so getting them to take it back was, I just did descend into a level of madness, because they wouldn't take it back, because they said, oh, God, I don't know, I packed it wrongly and it was broken when they got it back.
It was your fault.
Yeah, that's right. And Sony wouldn't take it back because I'd given it back to the retailer, and I just went around, and eventually I had to sue them. So like 6 or 9 months later, I got my money back. And then I replaced it with a computer that broke down again. I had touched madness for a little while there. I was actually inconsolable, yeah.
It does make you wonder, you think, why am I doing this? But as you say, you'll keep doing it. And no matter how much it throws it at you, you'll never stop now.
That's right, we're totally and utterly dependent on them, which is really weird, because, 20 years ago, in our lifetimes, we were getting along just fine, without mobile phones, and without computers, and without emails, and, the net, and all that jazz.
Yeah, it's time they come with a government health warning.
What, sorry?
It's time they came with a government health warning.
And I refused to buy a computer for the longest time. Everybody around me was, emailing and surfing like crazy, and I wouldn't do it until relatively recently, because I thought, foolishly, that if everyone is going to need one for their everyday lives, they're going to be made so simple that you won't actually have to go out and learn how to use it. Because, my parents toyed with the idea of buying a computer, but I said, just don't even think about it. My dad still calls the television the wireless, and has no clue about how to even switch on a video recorder, let alone tape something. Not the first inkling about how to do it. So I thought, you know what? People who use computers all the time, we do sort of have like a working knowledge of them. But if someone comes in fresh, they wouldn't have the faintest idea, would they?
No. Isn't that funny how, like say Dad calls the television the wireless? Isn't that funny how, like, wireless means something else entirely these days? It's in common use. It's like for...
Yes, that's right. And in a weird sense, we went from the wireless, and the great step forward was wires, and now we're back to wireless again. And in about 6 or 7 years, they'll say, sorry, you're all dying. It was the Wi-Fi that did it.
London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973. Nick Abbott.
I was hoping I could get my nails clipped and out of the way before you got here.
An arms giant faced ridicule after unveiling plans for green weapons. BAE Systems, British Aeronautical Engineering, something like that. Anyway, one of our big companies here has been doing research on quieter warheads to cut noise pollution. Because that's what you're worried about as you're being bombed, is the noise of it. You know, bits of shrapnel are taking your head off, but at least you're not being deafened by the noise. Isn't that incredible? Hey, did I use phalanx correctly, by the way? I know you looked that up, but I didn't actually have a look at it. Dictionary definition of phalanx. Closely... Hang on.
There you go. Oh.
A closely ranked infantry formation, any such closely packed or organised body. I have a closely packed, organised body of computers at home. So, is that correct? Yeah, all right. So BAE Systems are now going to try and produce warheads that explode less loudly. Isn't that amazing? I mean, how bored would you have to be over at BAE Systems? I mean, they've come up with just a ton of ways in which to kill people. Oh, they've just got no end of it. I mean, their catalogue must be super, mustn't it? I wonder if they do deliveries. And so they want now it's ever more efficient ways of killing ever more larger populations of people, and now they want to do it more quietly. Struth. They're also working on grenades that produce less harmful smoke as they explode. Bits of you are flying hither, thither and yon, but at least you won't be poisoned by the smoke from the grenade. And they plan to design bullets without lead because, quotes, lead would pose a risk to people.
Strangely, I just said that. Oh my God.
They want to produce bullets with no lead because lead is dangerous to people.
What?
BAE Systems is Europe's biggest munitions maker. Doesn't that make you proud? If you want munitions, if you want the ways to kill people ever more efficiently, come to us. Little old stiff upper lip, T3 Great Britain. We arm the world. Hallelujah for us. Kind of surprising, isn't it, really? Because if I'd asked you where would you get if you were some sort of nutcase who wanted to kill loads of people? Where would you go? You'd think, Russia or, South America. They must be making all that stuff down. No, right here. We used to be. I don't know if we still are. We used to be the place where everyone came for their landmines. Oh, and scientists used to think up ever more exotic ways that landmines would behave. Because it used to be, back in the old days, it were gone when I was a lad. Landmines used to just explode when you stepped on them. Simple things like that. And then they thought, oh no, let's make it more complicated. Because it might be a rock would roll onto it and it would blow up. And then, you'd lose all the money that you just spent on your little landmine there. And so they said, well, instead of exploding when you step on it, let's have it explode when you step off it. And so people would step on it, and they'd hear the click, and they wouldn't be able to step off. They'd be stuck there, knowing that as soon as they actually raised their foot, they'd be blown to smithereens. Great. That must have happened thousands and thousands of times. And then they thought, well, you know what? We could kill even more people if we had a bomb that, when you stepped on it, bounced up into the air and then exploded. A little mini bouncing bomb that sent out little bolts of shrapnel hither, thither. And people used to come here to this country to buy all those fabulous... I mean, people would sit around and think this stuff up. Don't you think that's incredible? They come in with their degrees and they think, well, now, what shall I do with it? Shall I, I could find a more efficient engine? Or I could go into medicine and discover ways of treating communicable diseases. Or no, I could design ever more exotic and amusing bombs, which would kill more and more people, and the whole world would form an orderly queue to this country to buy them. I don't know if we still do that. If we don't, it's probably all down to Princess Di. God bless you, Mom. Let's go with Bradford. Hello, John.
Hi, Nick.
How are you?
Okay, yeah, Nick, it's absolutely fantastic to hear you, man. It's amazing. I found you by accident, by the way. An accident.
An accident?
Seriously, I was just flicking through the TV channels and, the radio channels on Sky, and your name pops up. I couldn't believe it.
I'm over here now.
Where is it, down London?
Yeah, I'm in London, because I used to be in Yorkshire.
Yeah, you did that Real Radio. Nick, is there any chance of you coming back up here?
No, without mentioning any brand names, Real Radio, you say? Yeah, I guess you can say it as much as you like, because Real Radio doesn't exist down in London, mate, because that's where I'm broadcasting from, London, yeah.
Right, so, I mean, how long was it before you actually got back into radio, after you left that place?
Well, I thought it was only a couple of years, but people called me and said, you must have blacked out for a little while there, because it was 3 years. Was it 3 years?
Oh, was there a reason?
Yeah, they insisted that I left.
Really?
They had a little meeting and they insisted upon it, yeah.
Oh.
I just don't think that I clicked with the people that I was broadcasting to, because thinking about it, I didn't really enjoy it at all. It's really weird, when I came here to LBC without actually talking to anybody on the air, I felt completely at home here. I'm not having this is not a pitch to the management. I just did. It was really strange. I sat down in this very seat, and without actually talking to anybody on the air, I thought, yeah, this actually feels right. Whereas when I was on broadcasting to Scotland, Yorkshire and Wales, it was a fight every night, and this black cloud would hang over me all day long, and I just dreaded it.
Who were you fighting with? Who did you think you were fighting with?
The callers. Every night it seemed to be just an uphill struggle, whereas I feel spiritually at home here. Until you called, mate.
So how long have you been broadcasting from down London, or from LBC at the moment?
I don't know, Lucy. How long has it been?
About 4 or 5 months?
4 or 5 months. No, wasn't it I think I first came in and did some fill-ins. Wasn't it February last?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, so is it going to be a permanent thing then, do you think? Is it a permanent thing, or...
There's no such thing as permanent in show business. It's like no business I know.
Nick, what about moving back to... I really want... the V-play?
His timing was perfect, by the way. How did you know that I wasn't going to go into the song? You just, came straight out the back of that edit. It was almost as though it was planned.
Well, it wasn't. What about the V-place, Nick? Any chance of coming back to the V-place, or maybe the T-place? T-Spot? T-Talk? Whatever it's called.
Unless there's a change of management at the V place, no. You know what? That management has been there for the long... When I was at V, and there's only one person that's lasted there longer than me, and that's Russ Williams, who's got to be the luckiest man in show business. He's weathered every storm that's gone on. He's been the rock that station has based its programming around. The program director's office, as I've said before, had a revolving door. They were in there and out, sometimes that afternoon. The present management has been there since I left. They were the guy that's there now is the guy that fired me, and he's the longest serving one. And people are stunned that they've actually stuck with someone for this period of time.
When I first started listening to you,
he's doing very well.
Back in '93.
What's that?
Honestly, I started listening to you first time. It was back in 1993.
Where was I then?
Well, I think you were at the V place, and
right.
I think in 96 or 97 you went to the T place, and then in 2000 or something you were at the...
And then for a little while there I was at the V and the T place, V and T, a vodka and tonic. I could do with a couple of pints of that right now.
The point is, like I said, it was just purely an accident. I was just flicking through the channels and I saw your name and I was so happy, and... but the point is, if I'm going to listen to you, it's just going to be it's going to be via Sky News Channel. I'm going to have to leave the TV on.
Well, a lot of people are listening to the radio that way. It's called digital radio. It's it's the future. Get used to it. You don't have to listen to radio from your radio. People are listening to radio on their computers and on via satellite.
I don't want to sound funny, but I'd rather lay down and listen to you.
Well, is there no room on the floor of your lounge? I mean, try pushing the cans and the pizza boxes to one side, and just to make it, you'll remember what colour your carpet is. Just make a little space in the squalor of your own home.
It's actually concrete.
On the concrete, polished concrete floor, is it, or just actually sort of rough concrete?
It's a bit of both.
Right. Okay. He's living in a squat. He's got Sky in a squat. It's a first. Well, I'm over here now, John. Tell all of your friend. All right.
Will, Nick.
Right, thanks a lot. Ta-da. This is LBC.
LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Come on, we're running late.
Perfect for people with a passion for food. Oh, the alliteration. They couldn't think of a P word for food. How about potables? Perfect for people with a passion for potables. Say that 6 times really fast. Lucy, I double dare you.
Say it one more time for me.
Perfect for people with a passion for potables.
Perfect for people who are passionate for potables. Perfect for people who are passionate for potables. No.
That was awful. Here's South Norwood. Hello, Philip.
Oh, good evening, Nick.
Oh, it's Mr. Lister.
Oh, God, no, I'm not. No, I don't know where I got that reputation.
It's because you always come on with about 10 lists.
No,
That's why.
That was Betty. She's been putting their rumours about.
No, it's me, mate.
Have you been to see that new film, Nick, called The Night Listener, about a radio presenter with Robin Williams?
Never heard of it.
It just came out about a week ago. And
with Robin Williams?
Yeah, Robin Williams.
Oh, good. Is it a funny film?
No, it's certainly not.
All right. Well, then I could manage to see if Robin Williams is doing it straight, then I don't mind. But anything that's supposed to be funny with Robin Williams in it sucks out loud.
No, it's if you've seen Insomnia and 1 Hour Photo, he's in that mode.
Right. Okay. Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
But when he's in super extra slushy mode, it's just unbearable.
No. He plays this radio presenter who does a show.
Oh, wait. Are you going to tell us what happens in the film?
No, I'm going to tell you, but I'm not going to give away any secrets.
He's going to give away the secrets.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't do that. But he's a radio, basically, I'll give you the basics. He's a radio presenter who does a show. It seems to be syndicated across America from 11 till 12 at night.
1 hour?
Yeah.
1 hour?
That's what I thought. But he doesn't take calls. He reads out stories that have been sent in, and bits from books. But he's had
What a great gig. That's almost like being Terry Wogan, isn't it?
That's what I thought.
No thought required. You just come in and read people's letters.
Yeah, and he gets involved. I'm not giving anything away, Bob, what I'm saying. He gets involved because he's had a letter from a 14-year-old boy, and the boy's foster mother have written to him. And the story goes on from there and becomes very creepy and very...
All right, you know what? He didn't really give away much at all. I definitely thought you were going to screw it up for us.
No, certainly not. I wouldn't do that, I mean, I don't think it's fair. I mean, if people want to go and see that, I enjoyed it. I thought it was I gather it's based on a novel by an author whose name I can't pronounce.
Oh, go on, give it a go.
Well, there used to be a TV series called Tales from the City. I don't know, I can't...
Armistead Maupin.
That's it.
Aha.
Yes, you won a prize. Yes, yes, and it's very good. I enjoyed it very much. His co-star is one of my favourite actresses, Toni Collette.
But he's got a list of all of them.
No, I haven't.
Right, okay, go on.
Toni Collette, who was in Muriel's Wedding, Sixth Sense, and she's been in Australian actress.
No, I didn't see either. They sound like chick flicks.
Oh no, she's a top of the range actress.
Top of the range.
Yeah. The other thing. Nick,
what's her mile per gallon? Urban Cycle.
She's to me. Whenever I see her name on a film, if it appeals to me, I go and see it. She's really good.
Right.
Another thing, Nick.
Really, you honestly, I can't think of any actor or actress that I would automatically go and see a film just because they're in it.
Oh, Toni Collette, I would, yes.
I've never even heard of her.
Oh, did you never see The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis?
The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, about the boy.
Oh, I See Dead People. Yeah, I saw that one.
She was the mother.
I don't really remember.
Yeah,
does the mother actually? Did we're all thinking no. The mother, no. Was there a mother?
Yes, there was a mother for the little boy.
We're all shaking our heads. We've got no idea. Yeah. No, she didn't make much of an impression here.
Muriel's Wedding, then.
Muriel's. No. Well, first of all, there's the word. There's a woman's name in the title, and that's like an alarm bell to any bloke. You don't go to see any. First of all, you don't go to see a movie the poster of which does not have a gun in it. Every single film that's aimed at men has got a gun in the poster. Absolutely.
Also, Nick, she was in the remake of Shaft with who was in the remake? Can't think of his name.
It was Samuel L. Jackson. Yes,
she was in that as well. I didn't go and see that, but she was in it. Nick, the other thing I wanted to ask you about tonight, I was watching the TV, and it seems that they're going back to the old idea of using songs from the 50s and the 60s in adverts.
Oh, we just got a picture of Toni Collette up on our screen, and now we know what the attraction is, yeah.
She's a good actress. Anyway, have you seen these adverts? There's a couple of ones out at the moment where they're using songs from the 50s and 60s to advertise the product.
Oh, really? Which ones are they, then? Give us a list.
Well, I've got a couple. I'm not going to have a list, otherwise we'll have Betty phoning in. Colleen, what is it, Wayne Rooney's girlfriend?
Oh, Colleen, yeah.
You've got Roy Orbison, and she's walking down the street, and he's singing Pretty Woman,
Oh, big O, yeah. Roy Orbos.
But the one I like is where they're using the Kingsman, Louie Louie.
Now, that was a very controversial song in its time, and I think it was banned by American radio, and the CIA, or the which is the internal one? Is it the FBI or the CIA?
Yeah.
I think the FBI is internal, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why was it banned?
I think it was was it Hoover at the time?
Edgar Hoover, isn't it?
Yeah. In between trying on women's dresses, he was very upset about the Kingsman's Louie Louie,
Why?
because they said the lyrics so indistinctly that the rumour got around that they were actually profane. They were very, very rude lyrics. And so the FBI was investigating the Kingsmen personally and following them around and, painting them as a commie, pinko, liberal...
Well, I wish I'd known that you were going to say that, Nick, because I got one of the cruising record series where they actually... introduced that from a New York radio station.
From the stacks of wax we had in the back since 1954.
WMCA in New York with a guy called B. Mitchell Reed.
I've heard of him.
Yes, I've actually been on WMCA.
I very much do.
Oh, yes, I have. I better explain how that came about.
Oh, you better add, yeah.
People don't believe me when I say
I know. We've got an hour and 10 minutes. Go ahead.
Well, the reason, what it was, there was another radio station in London years and years ago, and they did a hookup. It used to be a talk station. I don't know what it is now. After it became a music station, it became a talk station.
What?
WMCA.
This doesn't ring a bell at all. A talk station that became a music station?
First of all, it was a music station.
Yeah.
And then it became a talk station.
What's it called?
WMCA. They kept the title.
No. The one in London.
And they did a hookup.
With?
WMCA. This station in London.
Oh, no. There was no station called WMCA in London.
No, Nick. The station in London had a hookup with WMCA in New York.
Oh.
No.
I'm just not listening.
And, so anyway, that was how I came to be on WMCA.
Right.
But what else have I got written down? Oh, yes. Did you see that? What about that in the paper in the week about this... in America, they have Alaskan pig racing.
No, I did not.
Did you see that? I mean, we could have that in England. Wouldn't that be great in London?
Alaskan pig racing?
Yes. These pigs, they have... like dog racing, but they use Alaskan pigs. And you could have a bet on the pigs.
Well, if you lived in Alaska, then you'd be starved of entertainment too.
Yeah,
starved of booze and... light and, well, a reason to live, probably.
Well, yeah, because, certain places there, they get, certain period of darkness.
Yeah, I think it's like 6 months. They have mosquitoes there the size of a Volkswagen.
Because, like the film Insomnia, which we were talking about, the one with,
Robin Williams.
Chino and Williams.
Terrible film.
No.
It was awful film.
Why?
It was called Insomnia, and I was asleep after about 20 minutes.
Oh, come on. You're joking. What was wrong with it, Nick?
It was dreary. It was boring. There was nothing good about it. It was just a terrible film.
Oh, no.
Robin Williams has hardly ever been in a good film. If the word Robin Williams appears on, under the or over the title of a film, you can almost walk out of the cinema straight away and not miss anything.
I thought his performance in 1 Hour Photo was probably his best performance.
Yeah, it was all right because it was no kind of a performance. He virtually did nothing at all. Yeah, he just looked.
He can't
weird.
win, can he? I mean, if he acts a silly part, you have a go at him. And if he acts...
Well, no, but that's true. As a stand-up, I think he's one of the most gifted comics I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But as a comic in a film, he just keeps picking the worst films. I don't know.
I never saw him in Popeye. What was that like?
I've got no idea. I missed that one deliberately. But I just think people must hand him a check and say, "Here's $20 million.
Yeah.
Would you mind appearing in this tripe? It'll only take you 6 months." And he says, "Okay."
Who do you always... What star would make you see his film, you think, oh, I've got to go and see it.
Well, I can't think of anybody. I mean, I would have said, until Jack Nicholson started appearing in these dreary chick flicks, with, you know, I have a thing about, you know, if it's about a love story and, you know, unless people get shot and there's explosions and car chases, then, you know, it's just not for me. And Lucy's looking horrified.
Did I tell you, Nick, about the film I found the other week in a bin in Tesco's for £1? It was a Russell Crowe.
I had visions of you rooting around the rubbish bin. Oh, I mean, like a discount bin, right?
It's amazing what you find. I found this film from I think it's 1991 or 92, and I've never heard of it. It was called Love in Limbo, starring Russell Crowe. And it was, honestly, I sat there and roared at laughter for about 90 minutes.
Was that before you put it on?
No. It, honestly, if you're in Tesco or any of these shops, and you see they've got a bin with DVDs for £1, have a look through.
Yeah.
See if you can find it, because it's genuinely funny. And he must have been about, 21, 22, I think, when he made it.
I have a thing about Russell Crowe. I mean, I just read one too many stories about him being a bleep hole.
Yeah.
And I'm just not interested in watching him in a film anymore, because I just can't get past that it's Russell Crowe, you know what I mean?
This is made before he became, he went to America. Because the first film that really caught everybody's attention with him was that one, I've never seen it, Romper Stomper.
Yeah, that rings a bell.
Well, he was a neo-Nazi or something.
And he's been romping and stomping ever since.
Yeah, he seems to, because is he Australian or New Zealander? Which is he? Any idea?
There's no difference.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah, well, they like to think there is.
Yeah, sure they do. But, they're all the way over there. And, they've got nothing else to do.
Have you ever been to New Zealand, Nick?
No, I have not.
Why? I mean,
because it's all the way over there. I mean, you have to get on a plane for, like, a day. For 24 hours, you'd be on a plane.
Well...
And it might be pretty, but nothing is that pretty. Do you know what I mean?
It is. The whole of it, the South Island...
Yeah, but I don't care. Switzerland is pretty, and that's only a couple of hours away.
Well, I've never been to Switzerland. What's the best parts of Switzerland?
I've got no idea. Pick a room with a view. How's that?
Oh, right. Anyway, I think I've run out of things to say, Nick.
And you know what to buy in the airport just before you come home?
People of London's LBC 97.3 0870 90 90 973.
Hello. Nick Abbott.
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
So the papers have arrived. Hallelujah. Okay, first of all, the Observer.
Boring.
They're giving away a food magazine. Giorgio Locatelli. He's in everything I pick up. Why is he in everything I pick up? That guy is he's ubiquitous. He's like God, he's everywhere.
He's quite handsome as well, isn't he?
No. Handsome?
There's something quite attractive about him. I've met him before.
That and the rabbit. Let's have, seriously, that's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
That's the ugliest electrical product, and Currys wouldn't stock that, would they?
Well, it's battery-powered, I think.
Maybe that's where they get the Duracell bunny thing from. The Mail. Disc 2 of your 20-track double CD is inside. A 20-track double CD of what? It doesn't say what it's of.
Isn't it Wet, Wet, Wet?
Oh.
It could be learning to
I saw it last week.
God. Really?
Yeah,
they
had one last week.
That's right. It's a free CD inside. How can you have a double best of Wet, Wet, Wet? I mean, you'd be hard pressed to make a single CD of the best of Wet, Wet, Wet.
Can I
wouldn't
just
you?
say that Marty Pello is going to be on Steve's That Reminds Me next week, I do believe.
Like I said, they're great. Everyone should go out and buy the Daily Mail. In fact, skip the Daily Mail, go out to your local record store and buy Wet, Wet, Wet albums in person, because then they'll get more money.
Okay. Well, that's
and I really mean
I'll do that tomorrow.
Minister cashes in on police computer contract. A Home Office minister owns 21,000 shares in a firm that sells sophisticated computer systems to police forces. Leanne Byrne, a former aide to Tony Blair, who was promoted to the government last year, has a major stake in E-Government Solutions Limited, which has contracts with 8 police forces and is bidding for more. There's a thing about... Hang on a minute, I've been carrying this around for a while. This is not actually in the news today, there was a while ago. Ministers have scrapped a computer system that was meant to save taxpayers' money and streamline benefit payments. The system was launched 2.5 years ago in an attempt to improve the way money was paid to people on unemployment and disability benefits. The government hoped it would save £60 million by simplifying the system. Guess how much it cost? That's right, £140 million. So they were going to save £60 million by spending £140 million on a computer system. Does that make any sense to you yet? Not really. And they've scrapped the entire system because it doesn't work. So they've spent £140 million of our money on a computer system that was going to save £60 million, and it doesn't work. So far, this year, IT investments of over £650 million have been written off by John Hutton, the Pensions and Works Secretary. I mean, that's just staggering. Computer companies just must see this government coming. They must be just laughing their heads off. We'll buy any crap. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, you buy a computer and you spend £2,000 on it and it doesn't work, and I'm on the floor screaming. You buy 650 million quids of it, and they just shrug their shoulders. Oh, well, never mind. It's not our money. We don't care. 650 million. I mean, you could almost buy a dome for that. A temporary tent. And this is what really gets me. It's just the staggering waste. And that no one really cares. And no one's doing anything about it. You know, people get upset in this country about this, that and the other, about wars and, you know, that you can't leave your house without getting stabbed and shot. But it's that they're taking our money. You know, they're taking £1 billion a day in taxes. Lucy's jaw is on the floor. Not a million, £1 billion a day. A day in taxes. And they don't take weekends off. That's 7 days a week. £1 billion we're paying, you, me, everyone listening to this, in taxes. That's what they're taking. And they're just throwing it away. I don't know, they're digging holes in the ground and putting it in like a swimming pool and just diving in, and when they're through swimming around in our money, they just set fire to it. I've got no idea. Or just leave it there and dig another hole and throw... I mean, what are they doing with it? Picking out comfortable chairs that cost 1,500 quid a time. And nice carpets for their offices.
Have you seen the new chairs they've been showing recently? The new designer ones? There are some very unusual ones. I know that's going
the government have bought?
No. Just random designer chairs that you can sit on. You can sit on ones that are like a climbing frame, and that's the new thing to have.
For who?
It doesn't look particularly comfortable, but
well, you know what? They aren't. When was the last time you sat in a chair that was actually comfortable for a long period of time? I think the people who design chairs don't sit down.
My sofa is at home.
Right, okay. But that's not something that you could work in, really, is it? I mean, like an office chair, something that's supposed to be ergonomically correct for you to work in, and that you spend most of your day sitting down on.
Your chair is?
No, it isn't. It's supposed to be, but it isn't. This thing that's made out of mesh that architects like a lot, it's not comfortable.
It's supposed to do all the bits and pieces,
I know it's supposed to, and it comes with an instruction manual that you need virtually an engineering degree to work out, because it goes up and down and back and forth and in and out and round and round. But I don't find it comfortable at all. In fact, if you go on the net and look up the name of this chair, you'll find forums of people telling you not to buy it because it's so deeply uncomfortable. People put their back out and it stops.
You've got to try Anna Rayburn's. She's got a special one. I'm not joking. She's got her own chair
I know,
downstairs.
you told me about that. Why?
Well, because she's got a bad back, and she didn't find
this chair. Well, exactly right. She's right.
No, but the ones in our office are different.
This chair is supposed to be so ergonomically correct that it will cure all your ailments, but it doesn't. I have now got a bad back that I didn't come in with. The small of my back is actually painful. And it's been hurting me ever since I sat down in this bleeping chair.
But you're never going to get one that's nice, because when we work in these studios, you have to lean over, don't you, and fiddle around, so it's not good for your back.
No fiddling. The Sunday Telegraph. Brown vows to change the way Britain is governed. Chancellor says Labour still has lessons to learn and must be more accountable. Oh, right. Well, we'll write that down, shall we? They're going to be more accountable. Yeah, and it'll be education, and he's going to get on top of crime and, you know, just all that stuff that they always say, and it just goes one in one ear and out the other. This is another thing that I've been carrying around for a good long while. No one has the slightest confidence in politics anymore. Where is it? The political system. Public has lost faith in it. Fewer than 1 in 4 people trust the government ministers to tell the truth. 1 in 4. That's,
You know what this is?
That's less than 25% of people in this country actually believe a single word that a politician says.
That's
Isn't
what
that
we
incredible?
did last week.
Huh?
That was my survey with you last week.
I don't listen to this show. 3 out of 10 believe ministers use their power for personal gain. 2/3 believe that people in public office get jobs through someone they know rather than on merit. 7 out of 10 believe ministers and MPs rarely own up to their mistakes. 63% believe ministers do not take bribes. So that's practically 50% of us believe that every single member of Parliament is crooked. 8 out of 10 have confidence in the media to uncover wrongdoing, compared to just 44% who trust the authorities to do it. So, in other words, we don't believe a blind word that politicians say anymore. Why are they bothering? And they'll come out with oh yeah, vote for me and I'll be doing this, and this. And you think, no you won't. As one, that's what we think now. Oh, yeah, well, there'll be less tax, and students will be learning more, and your kids will be more intelligent, and everyone will be healthier, and we're thinking, no, you're lying, we're thinking. It doesn't matter who's saying it, of what stripe and what party, we don't believe any of them anymore. Why? It's because every word that they've ever said has turned out to be a lie. And they come in and they say, vote for me and I will do the following things. And 4 years later, they haven't done a single one of them. And you can only call... we're only going to be stupid and gullible for a certain amount of time. We're not going to believe your lies forever. Anyway. Taxpayers foot huge bill for Quango State. Taxpayers' money spent annually on Quangos and other public bodies. See, this is what I'm talking about. Quangos. These are unelected bodies of people who do not much. They sit around choosing furniture for themselves and organising fact-finding missions to somewhere exotic with a 5-star hotel in place. Guess how much we spend on these Quangos? Most of which are staffed by people who know the people and are mates with the people who are giving out the jobs. £123 billion a year. In 2 years, that figure has gone up by 50%. Do we feel that we're better run because of it? Are our lives immeasurably improved because there's an extra 50% spent on these people? £123 billion. I mean, that's just... You can't even think of a number that big. It's incredible. And people just shrug their shoulders and go, oh, well. Don't they? As a nation, oh, well, what can we do? Here's the Sunday Express. They're giving away an Everly Brothers CD. No one wants it. And here are their hits. The Price of Love. Love is Strange. Let It Be Me. And more. And we're thinking, we haven't heard of any of these songs. And it's Volume 2. Last week was Volume 1. And if you haven't had enough of the Everly Brothers after Volume 1, then seek professional help. Cameron to scrap hated inheritance tax, says the Sunday Express. Tory leader David Cameron plans to scrap the inheritance tax for the main family home. This popular move will be the first by a major political party to reform the hated death tax. And as a nation, we're going, no, you won't. And whether he will or not is irrelevant. We just don't believe him anymore. The Sunday Times, which just doesn't look like a newspaper anymore. It looks like a free giveaway sheet, doesn't it? It just looks weird. Maybe this is the way the newspapers are going to go now, because I think I sort of latched on it last week, that what it looks like now is a web page. I mean, it's very clean, and there's acres of blank page. I mean, it used to be, every other newspaper is absolutely stuffed with, it's either words or pictures, and there isn't if you were doing a crossword, there wouldn't be a centimetre of space to doodle in. But the Sunday Times, there's practically there's barely a word on the front page. It's all acres of empty space. They've got a free DVD inside. 60 glorious minutes of nail-biting action from the Gulf. Boring! Oh, hands up who's interested in watching golf on television. I mean, there can't be anybody, really, is there? I mean, golf is a frustrating enough game to play right enough, and it's amusing if you're playing well. But to watch? I mean, it's green. That's about as much as you can say for it. It's pretty to watch, but interesting? Not really. Am I right?
I think you're probably offending a lot of people who love watching it. But...
Soldiers in guns for coke scandal. Oh, no. British soldiers have been caught smuggling stolen guns out of Iraq and allegedly exchanging them for cocaine and cash on the black market.
What?
Isn't that great? We're making such a difference over there. Prescott refuses to budge, even after the PM goes. John Prescott's considering staying on as Deputy Prime Minister after Tony Blair leaves office, throwing plans for a smooth transition of power into disarray. You'd virtually need heavy lifting equipment to get him out. The Sunday Mirror. What are they giving away? There must be something. Free plants worth £28. You can exchange them for guns. Just contact the British Army. £300 million Tories bedding a pal of his wife. Dad of... Rich people are busy at it with each other. That's the Sunday Mirror. You wouldn't think it would care that much, really, but Tory... You see, now they print this stuff. It might not be true. So I hesitate to read it all out, because these people are so rich they could sue us into a black hole in space. So you'll have to go and read the Sunday Mirror. And you don't even have to buy it. It's just right there on the front page. And as me, I bet that you'll shrug your shoulders and say, who cares? The news of the world, meanwhile. Bradley in Vice Den shock. Secret night at CD Club, but no sex for Coronation star Bradley Walsh, who's been caught in a sleazy Vice Den full of hookers. The married actor, who revealed last week that he fell for co-star Deborah Stevenson, whoever that is, admitted that he was in the club but didn't have sex. And you have to go to... page 3. It's there it is, page 3. Before you get some... before boobs hit you in the face. And it's Peter Crouch's girlfriend again. I mean, really, give me the woman's perspective on this, Lucy. Peter Crouch's girlfriend. Are you even remotely interested? I mean, Peter Crouch's girlfriend Peter Crouch looks like he's not human, like he should be in a zoo or something, like do not feed the animal. But Peter Crouch's girlfriend, I mean, why not Peter Crouch's girlfriend's pets, walkers, sisters, aunt? I mean, how far removed from fame do we have to be before our interest wanes? I bet you can't even name her.
No, I can't. What is her name?
Abby someone.
Is she the on-off one?
Abby Clancy. Who cares? Who knows? I mean, really?
No one. I don't think. Well, I guess some people must do.
Yeah, I used to think that we were interested in the sex lives of the rich and famous because we could gain pleasure in imagining them actually doing it. But can you gain pleasure in imagining Peter Crouch doing anything with his clothes off, Lucy? That's a direct question to you.
Certainly not.
No.
Not after that silly dance.
Which you'll regret forever. And inside, what have we got? How far do we have to come in?
You've got to pop off for a bit, though.
Oh,
You've got to pop off for a bit.
What, before I reveal the story under the headline Sex, Drugs and Smarties?
Keeping in suspense.
Oh, all right then.
Hi, I'm Gary King, and I'm looking...
London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Are you trying to tell me that this is your act?
So who do you think that's referring to? Sex, drugs and Smarties. Who's confessing all?
Can you give us a clue?
Yeah, Russell Brand.
Oh.
Russell Brand on charity. I try to get people off drugs. I used to get drugs off people. On sexuality, I'm not gay, I just have a really nice haircut. No. On heroin, it's like Pringles. Once you pop, you just can't stop. And I interviewed Kylie while I was high on crack. This is why I have no career, is I don't take enough drugs. See, if I had like a drug habit, and I went to the tabloids with my drug hell, like you see like every other week. Anyone who's whose agent is having trouble getting them work, they say, "Oh, just just make it up." They don't care. They just love that stuff. My drug hell. Yeah, all right. Oh well, man, and all that, and they'll just print it, and then suddenly your career will be through the roof. People will be queuing outside your door. BBC and Channel 4 will actually be strangling each other to get you to sign on the line.
And if you can get a relative then to write a biography about you and how that it's been hell for them too, that'd be even better.
Ka-ching. Madonna is to adopt 2 orphans. And you'd have to raise a finger of protest at that. I mean, are they fit parents, really? I mean, here's a woman who cavorts around in the naughty naked nude most of the time. She's strapped to a cross, deliberately offending the most populous religion in the whole wide world. She's already got 2 kids, and what does she call them? What does she call her kids?
Lourdes.
Lourdes, yeah.
And Rocco, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they're not so strange on the scale of celebrity babies' names.
No, they're not Peaches or...
I mean, she's...
Apple.
Is she ever actually at home? Is she constantly touring and doing this, that, and the other, bleaching her hair and looking weird? And there's barely a day goes by that they aren't reported in the papers as having some kind of fight or other. When she realises that her husband doesn't speak like that, right, mate? She's going to be furious. And now he's going to adopt 2 orphans. Oh, good on you, mate. Yeah, that'll patch up the marriage. Truth About Two-Faced Pete by B.B. Nicky. He used me and ditched me. I couldn't cope with his weird lust demands. Weird lust demands, eh? You want to know more? Pages 4 and 5. Oh, I don't think I'd better. Anyway, that's in the peephole. If you can stand it. And finally, in the Star. Oh, hey, you know what? Of all the newspapers that are giving away free stuff, I think the Star has finally cracked it. A free £5 for every reader.
No.
Absolutely.
And what do you have to do to get it?
You have to spend it on I want one of those. Stuff you don't need but really, really want. That's got to be a website, right?
Mm-hmm. I guess.
A free £5 spend on I want one of those for every reader. Oh, hang on. In tiny words. You know that there's... in Cambridge University, they use, in order to look into the secrets of the atom, they use an electron microscope. And you'd need that electron microscope to read the words that are printed underneath that free £5 notice. Password collect, £3.95 minimum P&P.
Oh. So it's not free at all?
So they're giving away a £5.
So really it's £1.
And that doesn't make much.
And how much is the paper?
75p.
Oh, great, so that's 25p. Brilliant.
And the time that it would take you to go and get the paper, which you'd, charge at your normal rate, it's just going to cost a fortune. That free stuff that they're giving away, it's so expensive.
Do you think people would actually do that, then?
Do what?
Try and get that £5. Or what they think is a £5.
Well, let's examine this then further. Page 24, it says... And there... Oh, here it is. How to claim. Simply collect 3 passwords from those we're printing every day until Friday. Your first password is printed below. Then go to I want one of those and enter your passwords together with your name, surname and email address. They'll then receive your voucher via email with instructions on how to redeem your £5.
But you've already bought the paper then 5 times.
Gift vouchers do not cover postage and packing, and it's a £3.95 minimum so that's actually not bad. So you're going to have to pay postage and packing anyway, and if you wanted something on I want one of those, which I imagine is full of stuff that you don't actually need at all,
Like those useful things.
Well,
to put on your
presents,
search.
stuff to buy like people. That's actually it's a stroke of genius. All that rubbish that is being thrown away immediately, because as I said last week, there's not one single thing that any newspaper has ever given away in this country that anyone has found useful. Not one. I mean, the Observer last week was giving away a wall chart of fruit. There can't be a home in Islington that actually used that wall chart. Not one. No one in Putney has actually stapled that to the fridge. And the Everly Brothers will never get played. What was the other one?
Wet, wet, wet.
Wet, yeah. Oh, well, that one will be, yeah, of course, because he's coming in. No home should be without at least 6 Wet, Wet, Wet albums.
He's now a solo artist, though.
Is he?
Yeah.
How are you spelling artist?
What?
What's the difference between an artist and an artiste? Pretension?
Yes, possibly.
And the Star says, Danny, my fight with Sis. Danny who? Oh, Harry Potty. Prince throws smoke bombs at pal's party. Oh, Potty, because I assumed that he'd been, toking on the marijuana again. Full story, page 8. Maybe he has. Fury at Harry's party smoke bombs. Prince Harry caused havoc at a pal's 21st birthday party by hurling 3 smoke bombs into a marquee, but his prank backfired and he was accused of ruining it for everyone. The party prince, 22, who had been knocking back champagne, brought the all-night celebrations to a standstill as guests were forced to take refuge on the lawn. Birthday girl Lucy Kent, ex-girlfriend of Harry's friend Guy Pelly, was said to have been horrified by his joke during the bash at her parents' country house near Cirencester in Gloucestershire. Huh? Oh,
I haven't seen you.
London's LBC 97.3.
You arrived not a moment too soon.
When do we start?
Tonight.
Good. I'd like to get in, get on with it, get it over with, and get out. Get it?
Got it.
Good.
So I was interrupted. I'd forgotten that the news was coming hard upon us, and I was busy telling this story about Prince Harry doing something that he shouldn't oughta at a party for a bunch of drunken, praying posh people. Partygoers were assured that the smoke bombs were harmless after they'd thrown some smoke bombs in a tent where people were doing the disco dancing, and there's nothing funnier than drunk posh people doing disco dancing. So maybe he thought that he would, camouflage them so as to save their embarrassment.
How do you make a smoke bomb?
By filling the... how do you make a smoke bomb?
Yeah.
Is that like a joke?
No. If I was to make a smoke bomb, is it just flour or something?
Harry was very merry, said guests. He had been knocking back champagne all night, but he had obviously planned this and thought it was a right larf. Harry was enjoying a weekend off from his army training. He was staying at Highgrove about half an hour from the home of the place that he was, grooving at. This girl called Lucy. Hey, Lucy!
Yes.
She's part of Harry's Glossy Posse, a group of attractive, well-spoken and wealthy girls who are trusted pals of the prince. Lucy was described by one contemporary as a sexy brunette with a very naughty laugh. For a year she went out with Harry's friend Guy, who's also known as a prankster. A spokesman for Prince Harry said yesterday this was a private party, so we can't comment on it. But a source close to him was keen to stress that the smoke bombs were not military equipment. That's because, as the Sunday Times have told us, the military have sold all their equipment to buy drugs.
Want to score some pot?
Here's Frinton-on-Sea. Hello, Louise.
Hi, Nick.
Louise.
How are you?
I'm all right, dear.
Good.
How's Frinton-on-Sea?
It's fine, thank you. It's the last night.
Is it still by the seaside?
Yeah, it's the last night here.
All right, okay,
God.
so to recap, you're working at a radio station, hey, as a gopher.
Yeah, I'm quite sad, actually. I'm going to miss everyone. I've been here for, like, a month.
Will they miss you?
Yeah, I think they will. They won't have anyone to boss around when I go.
Well, they'll just replace you with someone else, won't they?
Yeah. Oh, listen, I've had the best experience I've ever had in my life.
Working at that radio station?
Yeah.
Really?
Best thing ever, yeah.
You really should try to expand your horizons, and working as a gopher at a radio station was the best experience you've ever had. That's just really sad.
I suppose you don't understand it until you've been there. They have.
I have been there. I'm there now.
Yeah, but it's something I've always wanted to do.
Right.
So,
And what was the
yeah.
best part of it?
Getting to meet up with everyone, of course, and making them tea. And answering the phones and talking to knitters. That was quite funny.
Hey, do they have a phone in there?
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah, it's called London Calling. But
It's called London Calling?
Yeah.
In Frinton-on-Sea?
Yeah. But it's like a station. It's called Big L, so I like to think they're in London. But they're in Frinton.
Big L? That used to be a pirate ship, didn't it?
Yeah, but it's a proper station now.
Is it?
Yeah. That's why it's in Frinton-on-Sea, because it used to be a pirate ship in the middle of Frinton Sea.
Why is it called London Calling and it's in Frinton?
Because they broadcast to London and everywhere, and because it's called Big L.
Right.
So it's like old Radio London. I think that they used to do a programme called London Corner there. So I think that's why.
I've got no idea what's happening in this business. Absolutely no clue at all.
Yeah, but it's been good. I've enjoyed it.
So you still want to work in radio, eh?
Yay!
Don't do it. So you talk to presenters who work there?
Yeah, they love it. They all get on and they love it.
I doubt that.
I think it's different here because the people that live in the presenter's house get on together because they have to because they live together.
They
But
what?
I think there's a presenter's house and some of the presenters live there.
What? Are you hearing this, Lucy? There's a presenter's house where the presenters live with each other?
Yes, some of them do. And I think
You've
it's
just
kind
seen
of
Prisoner
different.
Day as well on the website.
You what?
There's Prisoner Day on the website.
Prisoner Day?
What's that? Yeah.
I haven't heard that.
That's on the Big L's website.
Is that... Right,
The heart and soul of rock and
rock
roll.
and roll, yeah.
Wow. No, Emma, talk me through this. So the presenters are living with each other in a
Yeah,
house?
some of them are. There's
Is this for, like, a programme? Is this like a Big Brother type?
No.
They actually have chosen to live with each other?
Yeah.
Is it in their contract that they have to do this?
No, it's just somewhere for them to... Because I've been staying at the presenter... I'm here now, in fact. I've been staying here for the month.
I mean, how badly would you have to be paid to have to live with other presenters? I mean, it can't be expensive to live in Frinton-on-Sea. No offence, but it must be.
If you get along,
It must
I
be
think that's
giving
why-
housing stock away over there.
I think that's why it's so different here, though. I think that's why people get on. Obviously, it's not like that everywhere. So,
Everywhere I've ever been, like radio presenters,
hate each other. Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
For the very reason that I mentioned last week. If you want to get ahead, someone's got to get fired.
Fired, yeah. Yeah.
And so everyone's fearful of everybody else all the time.
Yeah, I've noticed that actually this past week that I've been here.
Right, well,
Because
now you're saying, now you're totally contradicting yourself.
No, the past week that I've been here, something's happened, something big.
Oh, yeah.
So I've noticed that people are fearing this new person that's come in for obvious reasons.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this someone that we might have heard of?
No.
Oh.
I think I can see... Yeah, I can say this because it's been announced that they've got a new boss.
Oh, right, well, then everyone starts freaking out and running around and...
Everybody's been freaking out.
A new boss, yes.
Yeah. And he's right old.
Don't say it.
He's right old idiot.
She said it. The opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the radio station or its management company.
Yeah. Definitely not. So...
Don't get into radio. Do anything else.
You always say that to me, but you know what? It doesn't put me off.
In 30 years' time, you'll rue the day that you didn't pay attention.
Oh, Nicky.
Has anybody that you've met there said the same thing as me? Don't do it.
No. Everybody's been like, go for it, but I think this is a real fun radio station. I've been to other places that I won't name, that have been different. And because you're young and you're just coming in, they're thinking, oh no, eventually they're going to take my job, so I'm going to be really evil to them.
But in your case, they're not concerned. Okay, well, listen, Louise, I wish you the best of luck. All right, what's your next position going to be?
I'm going to university next.
On your
that's
knees
what I'm doing.
in a begging pose. Going to university, what are you going to do? Media studies.
Media.
Well, that'll come in. That'll come in really useful, right?
No.
No.
Well, you've got to prove you want to do it, I think. And, you know, I hope I do get to do what I want to do, because I'm determined to do it. So...
Right, well, that
even though you try and put me off.
that determination will count for a lot. And I wish you all the best, all right?
Okay, thanks,
Ta-ta.
Nick. Bye.
I think you sign on every other Wednesday, don't you? Get used to it. It's Robert in the Ronda.
Good morning.
How are you?
Well, the phone is inside my head at the moment. The pressure is so large.
It's funny when you're waiting on the phone a long time. After a while, you realise that you're pressing the phone inside. It's virtually you've inserted it in your ear. You're pressing it so hard.
It's become unbearable. I had to put you on loudspeaker for a while, but you're
Yeah.
back on. You're back near my mouth now. And here.
So what's up, Rob?
Well, the good news is I found one of your old friends on television.
One of my old friends. Who's that?
Alistair Wanklin.
Really?
Yes.
Yes, that's weird. That I was thinking about this just yesterday, because when I was working at another place, they had reporters, and one of them was, it was childish, very juvenile, but I just used to play them saying their names over and over again. And one of them was Alistair Wanklin, and the other one was.
There was many of them. There's one on another radio station called Gordon Farquhar. It was Derek Thatchett.
Well, that's the one that I was just trying to spell it out, and I didn't want to actually say it, but Derek Thatchett, which I used to say over and over again, to the amusement of all the kids that were listening.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you used to play that one a lot.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, yeah.
Oh, I've got many tapes of it. I always been trying in the car to listen to them. You should do them again.
Well, they don't work here. They'd probably be very upset. I think they were probably very upset when I was doing it there.
Yeah, you would.
Or they would have been if they'd listened.
Yeah, well, there we go. Anyway, he's working for Fox News.
Fox? Oh no. Fox. The Fair and Balanced station?
Fair and Balanced.
Yeah.
They're liberal.
Yeah, right.
There we are.
They're liberal like Hitler was. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, I've had a terrible evening, thanks to bouncers in nightclubs.
Bouncers?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, 10 o'clock, when you were starting your show, I was going to the Student Union nightclub, or about to. We were all queuing outside in the cold.
Student Union nightclub, all blokes dancing to Freebird, and then throwing up the cider that they'd drunk, and then rolling around in their own vomit.
Well, it's Freshers' night.
I remember it. Oh, say no more. Freshers' night? Oh, what a nightmare.
Freshers' night to them, fresh meat to everyone else.
Soaked in booze and sweat. Yeah, that's really sounds sexually appealing.
Yeah, and the nightclub is incredibly vile. It used to be called Divas. They changed its name now to Deviate. Don't know why.
Right.
So yeah, we was queuing outside. Got a queue to go in for some reason, and the guy I'm living with is a freshman. There was no room on campus for him, so he's come into my house. And he doesn't have a student ID yet, so he got all the way to the front, and the bouncer turned him away.
Oh.
So then I said, "Oh, go on, I'll walk you home." Then I said, "Oh, sorry, I'll just drive home. I'll call Nick Abbot, something to talk to tonight."
So it's another miserable night over at your place.
Every Saturday night. I've decided I won't bother going out anymore.
So you missed the freshers' disco, eh?
Yeah, I guess so.
So that means that that by next week they'll all be taken.
No, or taken by many various different people, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
You'll have lost out again. Maybe next year you'll get lucky.
It is next year. No, it's Freshers' fortnight, so this is just the first night. There's more people coming tomorrow. We had an Italian girl moving to our house today.
How many people are living in this house, by the way?
6.
6?
Yeah. She's living in practically a prison cell. It's so tiny. It's below the...
And what's the kitchen like?
Kitchen. It was clean when there were 3 of us. Now it's just awful.
In the fridge, let me guess, you've got 6 pints of milk in cardboard cartons, each of which has a name written on it, right?
That's just me, but I drink soya milk.
What?
It's lovely. You should try it.
Soya milk?
Yeah. What? It's absolutely gorgeous.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, It isn't.
It depends which brand you go for.
I don't-
My favourite brand is.
Whatever brand it is, it's soya milk.
Yeah, but it's sweet. It's good for you, and it lasts longer.
Good for you.
does.
How can you possibly say that it's good? First of all, it's not milk. It didn't come from a boob of some kind. It's juice.
Yeah.
It's pressed soya juice.
Well, the adverts say it's good, so it must be.
Oh, well, adverts? Well, you should have said.
Yeah, exactly. We're good for you. Anyway, yes. So that's
Do you
why-
really drink soya milk because you think it's going to be better for you than milk?
No, I don't like milk. And soy milk, I can drink plenty of that. I don't.
Lactose intolerant, eh?
No, I'm intolerant for anything. Thanks to eating properly when I was a kid. And my parents made me eat my greens.
See? And he's grown up to be... Well, there's that argument out the window.
A very attractive young boy.
Right.
I'm looking around all the time now. I feel old. I'm only 21. I'm looking in the mirror. I'm thinking, I'm sure that's a wrinkle, and I'm thinking of getting Botox when I come back. Embarrassing.
Good. Well, make sure that's the only thing that's in a needle that you stick in yourself for fun. All right.
Yeah, I think so.
Just say no, thank you. I mean, good manners don't cost nothing, do they?
That's what I brought up correctly.
That's right.
Indeed. Right. You got adverts, have you?
You are bright beyond your.
I could see you winding down. So what I was going to speak about, stay for next week. Save me think of anything. Hello.
So you have something for us next week?
Yeah, I'll talk next week. I'll talk about the new film, The Queen.
Oh, yeah, he's teasing across... Not only is he teasing across the break, he's teasing across the week.
Yeah.
Can you even stand it? So we're holding our breaths.
So remind me.
All right, you hold your breath now.
Lots of people.
London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
I'm listening, dear. You can talk to me.
Hey, Jethro.
Hi. Oh, is it my turn now?
It sounds like you.
Oh, right, fine. I just sort of delved down into semi-comatose state to preserve my being.
Oh, good.
Yeah, while I was waiting. And I've written the first 15,000 words of my dissertation as a result of what you said earlier.
What was that?
About taxation. Do you want to
Oh, yeah.
the title?
Go on, then.
It's taxation as a central government macroeconomic Keynesian stimulant in the post-industrialised Western European democratic economies, with particular reference to the UK New Labour government, Social Democratic government 1997 to 2006.
Right, I bet the title is longer than the dissertation.
Well, no, I've got 1,250 words so far.
Oh, I can't wait not to read it.
You're filled with enthusiasm then.
I am, yes.
Well, you bang. I do care, by the way. I do care. I do care. I do give a damn that Naughty Gordon from north of the border is spending lots and lots of our money on totally useless things that don't work.
Huge amounts.
Pardon?
Huge amounts.
Yeah, huge amounts. More money than you get into probably the gold bank of Fort Knox. Possibly.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I mean, how upset are you? Not a lot, really.
No, I think the man deserves a good spanking from his Presbyterian father, who probably would have kept a much better economic order in his time as Chancellor if he was Chancellor.
Well, consider him spanked.
Yeah, good. So I have cared, and I think the whole problem is because they're spending money and they're saving money by saying that they're spending less than they would have if they'd spent it at a higher price. Is because the whole government's dominated by women, and that's what they do when they go and buy a coat or a skirt. They say, "Look, I bought this new coat and skirt. Look, £100. You spent £100 of our money." Yeah, but I say 40 because it should have been 140, really.
Are you listening to this, Lucy?
Yes.
Is he making any sense?
Yes.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, you see something that's 50% off. If you buy two, it's free, right?
Absolutely, or you just go home to your partner and you just say it was a lot cheaper than it really was. I find that a lot better.
Does your husband listen to this show? He can't
Sometimes.
stand me, can he?
He does listen, actually.
Oh, right.
He likes it.
Well, presumably he's not listening right now.
No.
You're giving away the secrets of marital success.
I think he
Lie.
realises anyway.
Lie and lie and lie again.
Because the other thing that happens, Nick, is if you criticise them, if you say, "Look, we couldn't, we haven't got enough money," they say, "Oh, whatever I do is wrong," and they start crying then, don't they?
And
They do.
Lucy's recognising everything you're saying.
Yeah. And they say, "You're so insensitive. You just got no feeling for me whatsoever." And then and they start cooking the tea, and then you got behind them and you say, "Look, I'm prepared to listen." And they say, "No, go away. It's too late now." It's very difficult.
You're nodding your head, Lucy. This is awful that you're admitting to this stuff.
I didn't really admit it, but...
Yes, you did.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
And then he'll come around and say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And you still give him a little bit of a, something like that. And you'll forgive him tomorrow. It'll be all right. Yes. Yeah.
So I'm very disappointed that, what was the name? Irene from Putney wants to replace us, apron-wearing, quiche-eating males with a bit of 6-inch plastic that's made in China.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is...
It is so hard.
It is, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's hard and insensitive, but occasionally it's seen as a temporary replacement for the real man, isn't it? You know?
For the real thing, yeah.
The real thing, yeah.
But it comes in, I think it just comes in the one size, doesn't it?
The biggest whopper of the year.
I'm not a great expert on them. I just kind of imagine them and feel deeply envious and grievous that women, think...
Seriously, you need not imagine it. Go and Google it, and you'll find a picture of it within about 10 seconds, and then you won't be envious anymore. It looks like something that you'd see in a medical journal about what happened after Chernobyl. It is hideous.
But could I just say Danny Baker, the man she's trying to think of from Radio London is Danny Baker, I think.
Oh, right.
The man who talks as fast as an underground train, and it's very, you have to listen to 4 sentences back before you begin to understand him. But apparently he's very good.
Right.
Can we talk more on?
About?
Well, I don't know if it would be that. Would you think of a film about women sort of carrying around handheld replacement husbands in their handbags would be that funny? Because I think that's quite direct. I prefer the Mae West thing, back in the 1930s. Is that a gun in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me? I think there's, those days when they had sort of censorship, when they had to think of ways around the censorship, I think that was much more subtle, and the innuendo strength was much stronger.
Yeah, innuendo. It sounds like something that would be on Channel 4, like one of these talking heads things. It doesn't sound like a film at all.
Yeah.
A film that somebody would actually pay money to go and see. It sounds like just something that would be on, like... I mean, a movie about vibrators. Doesn't that sound like Channel 4, up and down?
It's the estate of the late George Harrison with handheld films in conjunction with Channel 4.
Did it have to be called handheld films?
Yeah, yes, and it's obviously linked up with a female liberation thing, because, men are replaceable items, aren't they, nowadays? But
as are batteries, yeah.
The thing is, I think they've got to really seriously think, is that, what kind of divorce settlement are you going to get from a 6-inch rubberized phallic symbol from, as I say, made somewhere in Saskatchewan province of China?
I didn't know that Saskatchewan was in China, did you?
I think it is.
Saskatchewan. I think that's upstate New York, but, close enough for jazz, yeah. It doesn't sound like any kind of film that I would want to see, or any man listening to this. Hey, Gary, do you want to go and see that film? No, not now, not ever, never. Right?
Yeah.
It's a chick. It's another. But it doesn't even sound like a film. I mean, does it have a plot? Does it have an ending? Does it have a happy ending? Don't answer that question. Anyway, Jethro, it sounds like you're about to cough your lungs up. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I know.
So go and do that in the privacy of your own home. All right.
Thank you.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
Driving up a narrow country. London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Hello, boys.
Bill Buckley's coming up in about 5 minutes' time. This is LBC. Have you ever had a parking fine?
Yes.
Have you?
You never have? Have you?
I don't drive.
Oh, well, that doesn't count then, does it?
You've had a parking fine, presumably, haven't you?
I have, and in the last one I had, I was very upset. It was just after the clocks went...
Forward, yeah, they went forward to give you an extra hour of sunlight.
Right, and I changed all of the clocks in the entire house, except for the one outside the house in my car.
Oh.
And I parked in this place, and it said, you can park here until 4 o'clock, no problemo. But it was, and the clock in my car said it was 20 to 4, but it wasn't. It was 20 to 5.
Oh, dear.
And I got back, and it was cost me £100. Isn't that
50
awful?
if you paid it in 40?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
even so, it's just horrific.
It hurts, doesn't it?
But the previous time was actually even worse. I parked it on a street, and I came back after I was doing a little radio show somewhere else. This was in the West End, and the car wasn't there anymore. And so I called the police. I mean, who else are you going to call, right? And they said, let's just check for you, sir. Yes, it's been lifted. You'll find it in the car park round the corner. So I go down there, and they had this gigantic operation. They had trucks with cars on that were backed up all the way to the street. And you go down to the... it's the car park that's underneath Marble Arch.
Yeah.
And you go down into... Marble Arch, and they say, right, you have to go down this corridor, and it's right at the end. And you think, all right, okay, I'll just go down here. And the corridor, I swear, it's like about 2 miles long. And it's this featureless corridor that goes on and on and on and on, and about halfway down, you start to get worried. I mean, what if I have a heart attack now? I'll be dead down here forever. Well, what if there happens to be just some lunatic who's just got halfway down, he can't stand it anymore, and he's, killing anybody that comes past him? Who's going to come and save me now? I mean, I might as well have been at the North Pole. I was so far away from the nearest civilization. But anyway, you get to the end of it, and there's, I swear, there must have been 1,000 cars in there. The racket that they had going on was unbelievable. And there is no pay half price within a short amount of time. You can get off with, 50% of what the fine was, because they want 200 quid just to give you your keys back. You can't leave with your car unless you give them 200 quid. And I know that I didn't park the car where they said that I parked it. So, the only explanation is, well, 2 explanations. Either I've lost my mind, or they picked my car up and put it down in a illegal space, photographed it, and then put it back on the lorry, and then took it out.
Do you think they'd go to that much trouble?
Well, either
get all your money.
either that, or I've lost my mind, and I don't know in which. It wasn't even in which space I parked. It was in a different street.
What? And there's no way you're really certain, are you, where you parked?
Absolutely. Yes. In my mind, I'm 100% certain that I did not park in that street. I mean, how can you miscalculate the street in which you left your car?
Well, what you've got to do next time you park your car is always take a picture before you go.
Oh, well, that's just ridiculous.
I'm offering you a solution.
But it's not cheaper. That'd be more expensive than...
just do it on your phone.
On my phone?
Have you got a camera on your phone?
Yes.
Yeah, take
Hey,
2
you know
seconds.
what? That's the camera that's on my phone might not be as...
and it would have the date on it and the time when you did it.
Hey, you've really got something there.
Yeah. Let's tell us a look.
Huh. Shamed army goat Billy has won back his stripes after wowing top brass. The animal was busted from Lance Corporal down to private after being out of step in a parade to mark the Queen's 80th birthday in June. But Billy of 1st Battalion of the Royal Welsh regained his rank after turning heads in a parade in Cyprus. An army goat. Out of step. It was a goat.